Solent Sports Special. Today we'll be providing live updates from the Champions League, Scottish Premiership, non-league and from the Papa John's semi-final. I will be joined in the studio by Will, George, Evan and James. First we go to George, who's watching Real Madrid versus PSG at the Bernabeu, where Kylian Mbappe is at centre stage with his transfer saga. How do you think he will influence tonight's game, George?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty influential tonight. He's back in the lineup after missing a game for injury. Nobody really thought he was going to start tonight, or at least it was sort of up in the air whether he was going to start tonight. But he is in the side. PSG's top goal scorer, which is going to be crucial for them. I think he's going to play a massive part. I think he, in particular, has really been carrying this PSG side this season, with, like I say, being their top goal scorer. With 24 goals overall in competitions, I think he's really been crucial tonight, and I sort of tipped him for a goal tonight as well.
We now go to Will, who's watching Man City versus Sporting, where Sporting have conceded 17 goals in their past 3 knockout games. Is this how the game's going to go, Will?
Yeah, that's a good stat to mention, actually. I mean, from the first leg, City 5-0 up already. It does look like it's going to be a bit of a walk in the park. City have made 5 changes from the last game. It does look like it's going to be that way, but you have to say, Sporting, they've got they can go for it. They can't hold back. They've got nothing to lose. If they lose this game, no one can blame them. They have to go out of this game. But it does look like, it does look like it should be quite a comfortable game for Man City tonight.
And then we go to James, who's watching Hartlepool versus Rotherham, where both got through the semi-finals on penalties. How do you think this one goes?
Well, on paper it does look like Rotherham should be the clear favourites, as they're currently top of League One. However, saying that, their form hasn't been that good recently, only winning 2 of their last 5 games. As for Hartlepool, they sit 12th in League Two and have won 3 of their last 5, so they're in slightly better form, but as I say, Rotherham are probably slight favourites tonight.
And finally, Evan is watching St Mirren versus Dundee, where Conor Ronan, top scorer, returns from suspension. How big is that in terms of today's game?
Conor Ronan coming back into the side for St Mirren is massive. 6 goals and 3 assists from the midfield just shows how much he can run the game for the side. Also, with their striker getting 6 goals this season, with bringing the assists back to him will really help them push forward. Dundee being 12th in the table as well should be a fairly comfortable win, hopefully, for St Mirren, who can go joint 6th with a win tonight.
George, we've seen obviously Kylian Mbappe in a massive transfer saga with Real Madrid. How do you think that affects his performance tonight? Obviously, he was brilliant in the first leg, but do you reckon it will be much of a difference in the second?
Yeah, like you said, he really was brilliant in the first leg, sort of bagging the only goal and giving Real Madrid's right back Carvalho a sleepless night that night, that's for sure. I don't think that's going to change. I think it's going to be the same again. As I've sort of already said, he's really carried this team all season. He's really needed to, as well as neither Messi or Neymar have really properly turned up so far this season. He's already got Mbappe's already got 5 goals in the Champions League this season and 6 assists in just 7 games. So I think he's going to be crucial, really. He's up front with his usual partners of Messi and Neymar, but I think it's really going to be down to him. And like I said, I do tip him for a goal tonight, especially the way he played in the first leg.
In terms of that as well, Messi, do you reckon it's his time to turn up and sort of really pull this PSG side through into another quarter-final?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Neymar came there originally wanting to win the Champions League and finally bring that elusive Champions League to PSG, as they've never won one. And I think, as you rightly say, it's really sort of Messi's time to step up. When he's come in now, it's definitely, if he can't drag them to a Champions League, then I don't think anyone can. And I think he really does need to step up. Obviously, you need a little bit of time to adjust to a new team, especially when it's the only time you've ever really moved teams away from his beloved Barcelona. But sort of only bringing 7 goals in 24 games this season is not really what you'd expect of, in my opinion, the best player ever. But he has registered 11 assists all season, so I think that could play a part. If he can't score himself tonight, then I think trying to set up Mbappe, as we previously mentioned, is going to be crucial.
And then Will, obviously Manchester City are massive in England and have been smashing everyone in the Champions League in terms of the last leg at least as well. But Sporting are no pushover, second in Portugal, only to a Porto side who are unbeaten all season. They've got some good players, Pedro Goncalves and Paulinho look quite decent. So how do you think they'll influence the game as well?
Yeah, there's no doubt that they are a great team. Second in the league, like say Paulinho's got 12 goals already this season. It's a very good team. Second in the league. Unfortunately, they haven't been doing great historically in the Champions League. The last time they got to the quarterfinals was I believe the 2008-2009 season. So when it comes to European nights, that's where they've struggled. Domestically, they've been fine. We know they've got history in the Portuguese league, but when it comes to stepping up into Champions League football, they're not really in the conversation. They've won 4 of their last 5 Champions League games, so they're not on bad form in Europe to get to where they are now. But for me, they haven't got that history and experience in European football. That's and it's not going to cause much of an issue for Guardiola's side tonight, in my opinion.
Missing a couple of key players though, with Diaz, Ake, Walker and Cancelo all out for injury. They're replacing with an EFL Cup player and one of their under-18s. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we've got Conrad Jaden Egan Riley, which is, that's a great name in itself. He's only got one senior game under his belt in the EFL trophy, and he's going to start at right back today, 19 years old, replacing Kyle Walker, who's serving the second of a 3-game ban. Guardiola said pre-game that he was almost glad and felt that Kyle Walker deserved that 3-game ban. He came out and he's very angry about the decision. It was like an 82nd minute red card, a petulant foul. So that was a real surprise the way he came out and said that. But I'm looking forward to seeing how the young man gets on today. He's been very, very good in youth football, 18 appearances so far this season with 7 clean sheets. It's not bad. We know City have got a good youth team, so hopefully he can make a good impression tonight.
Sounds good. We now go off to Saj, who is at Bottom Meadow for Bracknell versus Guernsey. How's it going, Saj?
Very good, thank you. How's it going in there in the studio? I'm here for Bracknell versus Guernsey in the Isthmian South Central Division. It's the runaway leaders in this division. Bracknell, who are first, having played 28 games, winning 25, drawing 1 and losing only 2 all season. They scored 69 goals and conceded only 10 here. Their only 2 losses have come here at this stadium, where they lost 1-0 on both occasions. In terms of Guernsey, they have played 23 games. That's a significantly different amount compared to the rest of the league. They've got at least 6 games on the rest of the division due to COVID reasons, where they started their season late as people weren't allowed in or out of Guernsey at the time. They come here in the hot form, though they're third in the form table of this division. Since the turn of the year, they've been absolutely brilliant and only lost once in their last 7. So they're coming here on good form, looking to cause an upset against Bracknell Town. However, the Bracknell Town's team sheet is very, very strong. They've got the top goal scorer in the league, Seb Bauman, starting today alongside Aaron McLeish-White, who's on 17 goals as well. Aaron McLeish-White, an interesting story here for you, was my first ever commentary game for Guernsey. It was against Ashford Town, and he scored 2 to give Guernsey to defeat Guernsey for Ashford Town back in November time. So he'll be looking to replicate that against a team who he seems to be playing well against. However, Guernsey do have their all-time top goal scorer back from injury. He scored 269 goals in 273 games for Guernsey in his time. So he's dropping numbers like Lionel Messi in these lower divisions. And they'll be hoping he can get the goal to hopefully steal a victory here for Guernsey.
That sounds good there. We'll be with Saj for all updates in the Guernsey versus Bracknell game, which looks to be good. See you later, Saj. In terms of the Champions League games tonight, how important do we all think that that this will be? Because Real Madrid PSG is a massive game in terms of 2 potential of the sort of the teams that could go on to win it. George, in terms of that, do you think that either team will go towards winning it?
Yeah, I'd say definitely one of these. I'd actually say these 2 teams are probably two of the four favourites to win it, I'd say, alongside personally Bayern and Manchester City. You could also probably put Liverpool in there as well. So one of probably the top five favourites to win are going to be knocked out tonight. I probably would say personally, I think PSG having the league wrapped up pretty much as they normally do, obviously despite they didn't win it last year, but normally having the league wrapped up, and I think they do it at this rate, really is going to help them in their hunt for that elusive Champions League, as we previously said. I think that really helps them in the later stages of the tournament, and I really do fancy PSG this year for the Champions League to finally get that, but it really does rely on, as you've previously mentioned, I think Messi finally kicking into gear in Paris.
Real Madrid have lost their last 9 out of their 10 knockout stages when losing the first leg, but they host a PSG side who have only beaten once in the previous 5 games, and that was in the 1993/94 Cup Winners' Cup final. Do you reckon, is it a repeat for history for Real Madrid in terms of losing their first one? Because they obviously sit back and they don't sort of push towards getting the wins in the second leg, and they don't push too far forward.
It really is a tough one to call. Two such brilliant sides, as we've already said. I think PSG themselves suffered 3 consecutive last 16 defeats between 2017 and 2019. And they won the first leg by 2 goals on those 2 occasions. On 2 of those occasions. And Pochettino himself has also failed to win any of his last 4 away games in the Champions League. So there's a couple of stats that really don't particularly go in PSG's favour tonight either. But I really think the game could swing either way. PSG have been in pretty poor form domestically since that victory at the Parc des Princes in February. Whereas Real Madrid have sort of been doing all right with 4 wins. 4 wins in the last 6 really for all competitions for them. So without wanting to sit on the fence, there's plenty of stats for either side really to go on and to kick on and win this game and get through to the quarterfinals.
And Will, City have won the biggest away margin, or second biggest away margin in Champions League history, and Sporting have lost their last 3 knockout games. I think it doesn't look good for Sporting tonight. Is it a case of they get a consolation and a consolation win against a Man City side that's riddled with a bit of injury and a bit of suspension?
Yeah, for me, it will be a case of, can Sporting on the night, can they do themselves proud? Can they get maybe 1 or 2 goals in the first half, first 30 minutes maybe? For me, you can never rule it out. You always want a team to try the best and do what they can, but with the City side, maybe they haven't got a full strength side. But for me, this is a consolation game for Sporting. Can they do themselves proud? But just back on what George is saying for the PSG Real Madrid game, you have to remember the away goals rule isn't going to be there anymore. So that for me, that can also play an interesting part in terms of how the teams manage the games, because in these European nights, they're used to taking into account goals and away goals and what that does. But that's not going to apply tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the game and the way the game's played out.
And in terms of that, the away goals rule being scrapped last year, do you think that's the right decision?
For me, I quite like the away goals rule. I like the dimension it adds. I don't really see the point of just kind of playing another 90 minutes, then going to extra time and then to penalties. I feel like having extra time gives an extra dimension to it, and it also means teams kind of really put themselves out for trying to get goals in away games. It adds an interesting dimension to the game. So I was quite sad to see that away goals rule disappear. But like I say, it will definitely add a different dimension to the game in terms of the way teams try and play.
Yeah, I think it pushes them to more defensive football instead of pushing for that last goal. And I think that the away goals rule, for me, is probably one of the most interesting games, or one of the most interesting rules in football can be. But George, do you reckon that will have an impact on your game over there?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, the whole reason that the away goals rule was sort of brought in was because, back in the 70s and 80s, so many teams would go away from home and sit 10 behind the ball and just trying desperately to get out of there and get back to their home ground with a decent sort of score. And I think the whole away goals rule was brought in to sort of get rid of that and like you say, to bring in more attractive games on in both legs, with to sort of improve the standard of football. Whether I think that's going to affect it tonight, I think, it could make a difference. It could actually make PSG less likely to go for it tonight. Obviously, they've already got that 1-0 lead, and now they're away in the second leg. In previous years, they could have tried to, if they grab one goal tonight, they'd be 2-0 up with an away goal. That's pretty much the tie done, even against Real Madrid. So I think it could have a bit of a negative effect in terms of in general. But I think a game like this, there's so much quality on display, so many world-class players. I really think it shouldn't, hopefully, have too much of an effect on the game.
And in terms of quality, Hartlepool versus Rotherham, Michael Smith scores 17 goals and got 6 assists this season. How do you think he'll have effect on this game tonight that's just kicked off?
I think he'll have a massive effect. Obviously, he's been really productive in front of goal this season, as you said, with 17 goals. He's playing some of the best football of his career probably, and they're going to need him firing all cylinders to overcome a in-form Rotherham side who actually sit 4 points clear at the top of League One. So I think his impact will be crucial tonight if they're going to get a result.
Lovely. We'll come back to you for updates. Updates in the Europa League as Lyon beat Porto 1-0 as Chancellor Mbemba's goal gets ruled out in the 95th minute. Corentin De Lima scores the only goal in that game, and Frankfurt beat Real Betis with a Kamada goal in the 32nd minute to win that first leg of that game. And we will now go over to Evan. Evan, how's the game going in the first couple of minutes there?
3 levels so far, not much happening, just a tense start to a game where both sides have something to play for.
Perfect, mate. We'll be back for you for updates. In terms of PSG tonight, they look quite solid going into the games, and obviously Messi's not really set the world on fire over there, but I think tonight's a perfect opportunity for him to get towards sort of the level he used to be. Do you reckon he's the man that does it tonight, or is it one of the other players, maybe Mbappe, maybe Neymar?
Yeah, for me, I think it will be Mbappe if any of the 3 tonight. It's the 20th time Messi's been to the Bernabeu, so he's certainly not a strange place from it. He's actually played 46 times against Real Madrid, scoring 26 and assisting 14. So that's ridiculous 40 contributions in 46 games against Madrid. So if he's going to do it against anyone, he's going to turn it on against Real Madrid. Although, I say that I can kind of contradict myself because he actually hasn't scored in his last 695 minutes against Real Madrid since scoring for Barca back in May 2018. But I still think, he always did turn it on against Madrid. He had that famous celebration with taking his shirt off at the Bernabeu. I think we could see something again like that tonight. Neymar, I'm not holding much hope for. Personally, I've been quite outspoken before. I've never particularly been a big sort of fan of Neymar. I know Roy Keane once called him a YouTube footballer. I kind of agree with that. And his stats this season haven't really backed up his case either since coming to Paris to get out of Messi's shadow, and now he's back in it again. But I think it's definitely going to be Mbappe's night tonight, with Messi sort of backing him up very, very well, I think.
We'll come back to George for more updates then, but now we go to Bracknell versus Guernsey as Saj is at Bottom Meadow. What's going on here, Saj?
Hello, Callum. I'm just reporting that the Platinum game has already been set. Guernsey have camped in their own half as Bracknell look to try and find the opener. They have a claim for a penalty just there, but Guernsey are breaking. Glenn Tissier's in behind. The defender gets round instead, but one of the rare forays forward for Guernsey in these opening 5 minutes as Bracknell have set the tone very early on. The man that I was talking to you about, Aaron McLeish-White, has been instrumental. They're going close again. Ted Mahon clears it there for Guernsey. They're literally capped on the edge of their box already and looking to shut up shop from a very open minute. Ross Allen closing down the goal. Loose touch. Ross Allen has closed it down, and Guernsey have a throw in on the far side. It's the first time they've got into the opposition half, so yeah, it seems all set here, to be honest. It'll be a question as to whether how long Guernsey can hold off and whether they can hold out against these runaway leaders in this league.
Thank you very much, Saj. Looking like that it's going to be an all Bracknell game there. We go back over to Will. Will, obviously Man City have looked good in their last few games. They're in quite a massive title race in the, obviously in the Premier League, but they haven't put out a second string side despite their sizable advantage, and they're looking like that Pep wants to win this game, and he wants to win finally the trophy that he can't get with Man City.
Yeah, this is Pep's. This is the trophy that he really, really wants to win. A Champions League title with Man City. It's the one that's eluded him. Obviously, they went to the final last year. It wasn't their day. Chelsea just seems to have the rub of the green in that game. But this is the competition that he really wants to win. And I'm sure a lot of City fans would trade a Champions League for a Premier League title. I think most fans would say that. So there's no doubt that Pep really, really wants. I think this might be a statement from him, only having one player that you wouldn't really put in a squad normally, with the young right back Egan Riley. Apart from that, it's a very, very strong team. You've got centre back Ruben Diaz out at the moment. He's out for the next 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. De Bruyne is on the bench, mainly I think because he's got a yellow card already, and one more yellow card would mean a suspension for the next round. And for me, he's the best midfielder in the world, and you wouldn't want to risk it. But apart from that, it's still a very strong team. Foden is in sparkling form, so it's a bit of an intent really from Guardiola. He really, really wants to win this Champions League.
Lovely. That game kicks off at 8 o'clock. Now we go over to Barnaby and George. Barnaby, you are at Farnborough versus Portchester. How do you think this one's going to go?
Hello. So, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I think this game is going to be probably a comfortable win for Farnborough. Coming into this game, they've won the last 4 games in this competition, 4-0, beating the likes of Aldershot and Portsmouth. This is probably one of the biggest games in Portchester's recent history, so probably going to be a win for Farnborough tonight, I reckon.
And the winner of that plays Eastleigh, obviously. There's a striker up there, Lee Wart, ex-Sholing as well. Wessex League top goal scorer for Portchester. Have you seen much from him so far?
Not yet, to be honest, but it is all Farnborough at the moment. Just comfortable on the ball, just looks dominant so far. It's only a few minutes in, but it looks relatively comfortable for Farnborough so far. I guess we'll see as the game goes on.
We'll come back for you any updates. Thank you very much, Barnaby. And then we go back across to the game at Hartlepool and Rotherham. This is the semi-finals of the Johnson's Paint, or what used to be the Johnson's Paint Trophy when Southampton won it, and the Papa John's Trophy now. How's it looking, James?
Well, in the opening exchanges, it was quite a cagey affair. There was quite a few big tackles flying in as well from the League One side, Rotherham. But since then, to be fair, Paul Warner's side have actually really taken control of the game. They've had 2 quite big chances. Striker Michael Smith has been causing havoc across the lines and in behind the defence. He actually played a lovely over-the-top through ball to Jolie Bowler, who had his side-footed effort saved. And then again, a similar situation happened with the same player, and Bowler unfortunately missed the target. But in the opening exchange, it does look like Rotherham are massively on top and taking control of this game.
Sounds good. We'll come back for any more updates. George, in terms of Real Madrid, if they're going to win this game, who do you reckon the man is to make that change and make that player? Benzema's in good form. Obviously, Vinicius having his breakout season, maybe a few years late, but looks good.
Yeah, there's actually a bit of an argument going on at the moment whether sort of Vinicius now is starting to take the crown off of Neymar, becoming sort of Brazil's main hope going forward. Something that I can really sort of start to get behind. I think he's had a fantastic sort of proper breakthrough season this year for Real Madrid. But it's got to be Karim Benzema. He's in the form of his life. He's in his mid-30s, but he's still banging in the goals week in, week out. 27 goals and 12 assists, in just 32 games this season is quite a fantastic return, with 5 goals and 6 Champions League games. And I really think if anyone's going to make the difference for Real Madrid, then it is going to be Karim Benzema tonight. But like you say, Vinicius will very capably back him up. Tony Kroos back in midfield as well, after recovering from a slight hamstring issue. That'll be a great boost for Ancelotti's side in midfield as well. But they are missing Casemiro after his suspension, so that could be a miss, and that he really is sort of their pivot and the one who pulls the strings for them in midfield as well. So that's going to be a miss. But I think to get that goal back that they need against a team from Paris, it's really going to be down to Benzema continuing that fantastic form.
Lovely. As I said, that game kicks off in just 4 minutes' time. We'll hear every update from George. Well, in terms of Lisbon's opportunities to win this game, Sporting, obviously they're losing their last 3 knockout games. They don't look good in Europe, but they've got the stats in their favour in terms of the biggest away win margin. Man City beat that last time, winning 5-0. The last one, the last record that they beat was PSG's 4-0 win at Barcelona, which obviously got overturned by Barcelona at the Parc des Princes with Sergio Roberto's goal. Do you see something like similar happening?
I would love to say yes, Callum. I really would, in terms of the spectacle. But we all remember that amazing Barcelona game, and I want to say crazy things have happened, but I don't know if they have done, to be honest. City are just in glorious form. The manager for Sporting, Ruben Amorim, he's named a strong side. They've got at least 25, 26 goals in all competitions on the field at the moment. So it's not a bad team. They are in good form. I think they're second points off Porto, who are top of the Portuguese league. So, like I say, they're not doing bad. Recently, they've won 2 of their last 3 in the league. So, there's no reason why they can't do themselves proud in this game by getting a few goals. That if they really want to exploit the vulnerabilities that a 19-year-old right back may possess, then go for it. Try and get what you can do. Zinchenko hasn't been playing an awful lot recently. John Stones and Aymeric Laporte are definitely, you can definitely get at them. There's no doubt about that. With Ruben Diaz out for the next month, there's no 2 ways about that. There are, it's a back four that you can get at. Fernandinho as well. He's really getting on. Rodri's on the bench. Fernandinho getting minutes for the first time in a while. So there's no reason why they can't, really kind of put Man City under the cosh. But it's very, very hard to pin this Man City team back and try and execute the press on them well, because we know how good they are. Ederson can ping 50, 60-yard passes like it's nothing for him. So it's really going to be a big challenge for them tonight.
Lovely. As I said, kicks off in 2 minutes' time. But first, we're back to Saj again. Hello, Saj. How are we doing? What's going on down there?
Hello. It is now already Bracknell 1, Guernsey 0. It was a courtesy of a penalty. Jamie Dodd, the captain of Guernsey, brought down the attacker of Bracknell Town, and their talisman, the man that is top goal scorer in this division, Seb Bowman, stepped up to score his 25th goal of the season, his 4th goal in the last 3 games. It was a well-shot penalty down to the bottom left side. The young goalkeeper, a 17-year-old goalkeeper of Guernsey, almost got his hand to it down to his bottom right-hand side, but the penalty was struck well enough for it to fall in to the net and give Bracknell the lead. However, I was saying it was all Bracknell, but straight down the other end from that penalty, Guernsey had a brilliant chance to equalise. The 22-year-old centre-back, Jacob Falaise, rose highest from the corner, met it with a powerful header, but the goalkeeper, Michael Eacott, got down to his bottom left and saved with his feet to keep the score 1-0 to Bracknell. However, the pattern of play is still very much the same. Guernsey looking to counter as Bracknell hold the majority of possession. But yeah, 1-0 here at the SB Stadium for Bracknell City.
Thank you very much, Saj. And it sounds like that we won't be seeing the last of Saj. Fortunately enough for him and for us, we'll be hearing his voice a lot tonight for Bracknell versus Guernsey, who Bracknell go 1-0 up. Evan, in terms of the game in Manchester City versus Lisbon, how do you think that things will go for Lisbon? They've got a couple of good players, a couple of injuries, could take advantage. Even if it's a consolation loss, a win will be good for Sporting to take it back into their Premier League campaign.
100%. Like Will said, I think the chance of a win is pretty much zero, but even to get a few goals against Man City and carry that form into their league and just push on in the rest of their competitions that they still can. I mean, any team can take a lot of confidence from scoring against Manchester City, arguably one of the best teams in the world right now. So I think if they can grab a goal or two, that will really set them up for the rest of the season.
Evan, what do you make on them starting that young right back, Egan Riley? There's been a lot of stuff on social media. Some fans really, looking forward to seeing him start, but some fans also thinking it's a bit early for him. He's only 19 years old, only one senior appearance. What do you make of that, the choice to start him?
I think any game, any big game is always going to have criticism on starting such a young player. Like, people talked about the penalty takers in the England Euros final being young players. Maybe they shouldn't have done it, but you've got to prove yourself at some point. So why not start in a Champions League game at that age?
Sounds good. We'll go back to Evan for a little bit more commentary on that game and on maybe a couple of the other games that's going on around here. At this point now, we'll go along to Hartlepool and Rotherham. James, anything going on?
Yeah, to be fair, the home side of Hartlepool have massively come back into it. The crowd at Victoria Park tonight seemed massively up for it. The atmosphere is pretty raucous, to be fair. And their main man, Luke Molyneux, has really made a positive start to the game, playing and operating on the right wing mainly. He looks to be a very, very tricky player, and he's had a couple of half chances. He's giving Angus MacDonald for Rotherham a torrid time, and he's had a couple of little half chances where he's jinked inside the box. He's very worried about letting him back on that sweet left foot of his, so he's been kind of running it down the line a couple of times and switching it up. And it's meant that it's given him the space. Unfortunately, nothing's come of it so far. But yeah, much more positive start for Hartlepool.
That sounds brilliant. And we're now at Farnborough with Barnaby. Barnaby, what's going on at Farnborough?
Hello. So far, Portchester have had the bigger chance in this game. Just hit the crossbar with their tricky number 10, Mirella Barcelos. I think it's, to be honest, it has mainly been Farnborough, but Portchester aren't worried to not get back into this game.
Looks like end to end over there then, is it?
I think so, yeah. I think Portchester are definitely not scared to have a go at Farnborough, despite the fact that Farnborough are clearly the better team. But they're definitely giving them a go out there tonight.
Sounds like Eastleigh have got their works cut out for them if they face one of the two of those in the final.
Yeah, definitely. I think that going into this game, Farnborough have beaten big teams in Portsmouth and Bournemouth, so they're definitely not afraid of a team like Eastleigh. And I think Portchester aren't scared either.
Thank you very much, Barnaby. We'll come back to you for any more updates. The game's just kicked off in the Champions League. Obviously, PSG and Real Madrid, and then Man City versus Sporting. George, anything early on?
Not particularly, to be honest. Nothing's really happened really sort of 2.5 minutes in. The most exciting thing was Militao went down injured. The Madrid centre-back, after a clash in the air with his own teammate, Tony Kroos. So after just 2 minutes, Tony Kroos is already making an impact, being back in the side. But that's about it so far.
Evan, Will, anything happening? Anything going on at Sporting versus City?
Yeah, Raheem Sterling has already had an electric start. He hasn't scored, but he's got in twice. But between the Sporting right back and centre back, that gap, they love to play inside runs from the two wingers, allowing the fullbacks to overlap round the outside. And Fernandinho has already played 2 balls in behind for Sterling, and we all know the pace that he possesses, and it's already starting to cause Sporting some problem. Sporting, to be fair to them, they brought a great following. They got a lot of fans, and they are making some noise. And it's a really good atmosphere. But City are already starting to exude that sort of control. Fernandinho in his veteran years starting to dictate the play as well. Foden's picking the ball up in some really nice pockets. But Sterling has already shown 2 examples of the danger that he's caused for years now in the Premier League.
Evan, obviously Raheem Sterling's a quality player, and I think we all know that at this point, but there's an argument to make he's slightly underrated, and obviously before the Euros, people arguing why he's in the squad or why he's starting over players like Sancho at the time that were in better form. Are you on that same boat as underrated or overrated?
I think I'm on the underrated side still. I think the Euros really showed what Raheem Sterling can do as a player. I wouldn't use the word carried, but he definitely helped England get as far as they did in the Euros with just so many goal contributions and just the way he plays just to cause havoc on whatever side he is on the pitch. And then, obviously, being at Man City, Pep, we all know he transformed him from a player that was mocked for not being able to finish to a lethal player who can score you a goal in the biggest of games, like we saw at the Euros again with goals against Germany, etc. So, yeah, I think he still needs some more respect on his name, but yeah, I think he gets some recognition for the work he does.
And in terms of Pep Guardiola saying at the weekend that they definitely need a striker in the summer transfer window, do you think that's a need or it's just a lucky want for them? Because obviously they're doing very well in the Premier League, 6 points ahead at the moment, potentially 3 if Liverpool win their game in hand. But obviously they could do with that firepower. Imagine if they had Harry Kane, Erling Haaland, and Mbappe either in their squad next year or even this year. Would they be 10, 11, 12 points ahead?
100%. I think it's a question of how much better can they get with a striker rather than do they need a striker. They've won Premier Leagues and got far in the Champions League without a striker, so I think a striker would be just the tip of the iceberg in what City can do in football.
And George, talking about strikers, Kylian Mbappe, obviously a massive striker and a massive man that looks to be moving towards Real Madrid or towards another club in the summer. How's he doing currently in the game over there?
Yeah, he's just had one chance down the left-hand side, running at Carvajal again, who hasn't really missed him since he last saw him a couple of weeks ago at the Parc des Princes. Apart from that, not much else is really happening. Messi's playing so incredibly deep. It's like he's almost playing holding midfield at the moment, just trying to figure out sort of where those front three are playing. It looks as though they've got Neymar actually down the middle, with Mbappe on the left, and then probably Messi on the right. Although he's sort of everywhere, as we know. But yeah, nothing much as of yet. Just start both teams sort of feeling their way into the game. But it looks to be a pretty feisty game so far. A yellow card already just being handed out to Paredes in the midfield for PSG.
And in terms of that Messi position, do you think that Pochettino, he's been argued against at his PSG for his ability to manage the big players? Do you reckon that Messi's sort of choosing his own position in there, or is it more he's been told by Pochettino to do that?
I think wherever you put Messi, he's going to go where he wants, really, if I'm honest. He normally ends up in the same sort of positions, whether he sort of plays down the middle or on the right, or even as like a second striker in number 10 sort of role. But to be honest, I don't particularly blame PSG counter-attack here. I'll stay with you for that. Mbappe down the left. Save. Decent attempt, nothing much really came from it, but a shot on target from Mbappe there. Sorry, going back to what we were saying, I wouldn't really put it down to Pochettino, to be honest. I think you look at Thomas Tuchel, he said in a recent interview, a couple of months ago, that he was more of like sort of in charge of family relations and keeping the players happy and their families happy than actual managing the team, and now he's moved to Chelsea and look what he's done at Chelsea. So I wouldn't actually put it down to Pochettino. I think this team is just difficult to manage in general with the personalities and players in it, and I just think wherever you put Messi, he's a good enough player that he should perform.
And that is the Man City versus Sporting game. Will, what can you tell us?
Penalty shout for Gabriel Jesus. He's a corner for Man City. The ball's been played short, as it always is for Man City, really. They're not a massive fan of aerial bombardment. But Gabriel Jesus finds himself with a ball pulled back to him from the byline, about 10 yards out on the right side of the goal, goes to pull the trigger, and a Sporting player collides into the back of him. Gabriel Jesus goes over, maybe a bit theatrically, it could be argued. I think that's what the referee was suggesting, because he hasn't given a foul. But as you can imagine, the Brazilian wasn't very happy at all. Arms flailing, legs flailing, he wasn't very happy. A few of the Man City players complaining, a few of the Sporting players actually complaining that he was diving. But it was a big shout. I'm just seeing a replay. It was John Stones who brings the ball back, and to be honest, the Sporting defender gets nothing on it. There's a bit of a collision, but I think Gabriel Jesus, he doesn't help himself by the way he falls down. If I'm being completely honest, it is a bit theatrical. Arguably not enough for a penalty, but a definite shout by Man City by all accounts.
Lovely, we'll keep you updated. But now we are back to Saj. Hello, Saj. What have you got for us?
Hello, Callum. So I was saying to you beforehand that the pattern of the game has been set. However, Guernsey are looking to break that right now. They started to come out and play some really neat football. They haven't had anything major on goal as of yet, apart from that header that I told you about minutes ago, as Ross Allen looks to be played in behind. It's called offside. But yeah, as I was saying, Guernsey are really coming on strong now. They've got their foot on the ball and are looking to try and match Bracknell. However, they've got a very, very difficult task on their hands, as Bracknell have played 28 games this season and kept 18 clean sheets. So they're looking to become only the 11th side this season to break the to score past Michael Ecott. So it's going to be a difficult ask, but who better to do it than their top goal scorer, Ross Allen, who is now looking to transfer his teammates on. He's waving his arms, telling them to lift their heads. There's been an early substitution actually just now. Carl Smith has come off injured, and the youngster Keane Domal has come on. His fourth appearance for Guernsey. He scored with his very first shot for Guernsey against Binfield a few weeks ago. It was a lovely left-footed finish. But yeah, Guernsey are really coming on strong, and Keane Domal is a very, very bright young talent. Remember him for the years in the future. He's only 17 years old, but scores bags of goals for the local Guernsey side. Oh, hello. For the local Guernsey side, North, and he's joined the biggest club in Guernsey now, as he looks to try and make a pathway like Alex Scott did from Guernsey. Alex Scott of Bristol City rose through the ranks here at Guernsey and is now playing his trade in the Championship, where he is setting the Championship alight for Bristol City and has been touted with moves to Tottenham. So he could be another one of them in a few years' time, because he's got a real keen eye for goal. But it's still 1-0 to Bracknell, but Guernsey are really coming back into this game now.
Lovely, thank you very much, Saj. We look forward to hearing from you again. And now we've got Adam with an update from the cricket. Adam, what's going on?
Yeah, cheers guys. So, like I said yesterday, it was a good start for England. They recovered from 57 for 4. However, they were all out today for 311. Bairstow was finally dismissed for 140. England lost 4 wickets for 26 runs. Good bowling from Jayden Seales with 4 wickets. Put the end to England's innings. England got off to a poor start with the ball for the first game without Broad and Anderson. However, a good recovery sees them at 154 for 4, with Ben Stokes bowling well and looking like he could be taking some wickets.
Lovely, we'll have an update again from Adam. Thank you very much, Adam. And we'll go back to James. James, you're at Hartlepool. What's going on here?
Well, the crowd are starting to get quite frustrated with the referee. There's been a couple of soft fouls being given to Rotherham. Their captain, Richard Wood, was quite lucky to escape with just a yellow card, to be honest, as he is quite a cynical block-off, and it looked like to me that he led with the elbow. So yeah, he was quite lucky to escape with only a yellow card. I would say, with the way the game is going, Hartlepool are kind of missing their main man, who actually left them in January, Matt Daly. He had actually scored 5 goals in 4 games in the EFL Trophy. And yeah, Rotherham's shape, they're playing with kind of a 3-5-2, so it would allow Daly to pick up the ball in the spaces. I feel like they're really missing that tonight.
We'll come back to you for any updates towards that. It looks like a very feisty game over there. George, any updates on PSG? Obviously, they seem to have started quite brightly. Mbappe looks quite good. Any updates on him and Messi maybe making a difference?
Yeah, well, funny enough, Madrid have actually started the better side, but PSG have actually had the better chances. You know, Madrid have sort of been probing. They've had some good attacks out wide. They've had plenty of overlaps from the fullbacks. Carvajal and whoever's out on the left-hand side, I've completely forgotten, Nacho, out on the left-hand side, both those fullbacks. But Mbappe just had another chance again on the break on his left-hand side, about 8 yards out. Hard, powerful shot, but smothered by Courtois with his legs and his huge frame. So, again, not much to report here, but Madrid are probing, but on the counter, PSG looking very good.
And with the two wing backs, Nacho and Carvajal, pushing quite high forward and looking towards getting what they look to be the better start. Do you reckon Mbappe, Neymar, and potentially Messi will take advantage of that?
Yeah, I definitely think on the counter they really are so far. Messi, as I said at the start, is dropping so deep. He's dropping the ball up. He's picking the ball up. Sorry, so deep, almost off the fence of his side, and just carrying it and dribbling up towards the front of the field. And he's playing very well so far. He's taken on a couple of players. He's played a couple of passes. Neymar is just trying to get on the ball as well as we speak. But yeah, I think the problem with being a goal down, like we say, with the difference now without the away goals rule as well, is that Madrid have got to go forward at some point. They've really have got to push forward at some point. But unfortunately, if they are going to rely on overlaps from their fullbacks, it leaves them so open. As I'm seeing now, okay, cleared away, but these are so open out wide for the attacks from that lethal front three of PSG.
Goal!
And there's been a goal at Hartlepool. We go over to James for more.
So basically, as I was saying earlier, Rotherham have been quite lively and they've been giving away quite a few free kicks. This time they gave one away on the right hand side. The left back Ferguson for Hartlepool was whipped in a lovely ball, and the youngster Joe Gray, the 18-year-old, has got on the end of it. A lovely cushion side-footed finish, posting in. Keeper absolutely no chance. Obviously, Joe Gray this season has struggled quite a lot to find his form in League Two, as he's failed to score in his last 21 games, but he's definitely made a massive impact tonight.
That's a brilliant goal and nice little start for us now, because the deadlock's broken in one of our games. Hopefully more to follow, with Bracknell obviously going 1-0 up at with Saj at Meadows Lane. In terms of Man City, any opportunity for a breakthrough there?
Foden's starting to show a bit of class, to be honest. Callum, he some of the touches of the ball is so elegant. The way he glides across the pitch, he doesn't get enough credit for the speed and the movement that he has. It's a real asset in his game. So Man City have the ability to fizz the ball into him, and he can control it just within an inch. Within an inch of his foot, and just start an attack. It's very impressive, and his aggression, more than anything, it's so clear to see, and it's causing a lot of problems. Him and Raheem Sterling on that left hand side, a bit of English build up together. And I don't know about you guys, Evan. I'll ask you, what do you think the ceiling is for Phil Foden? Because he even at this age, he's showing himself to be kind of one of the standout players.
100%. I think you wouldn't be too foolish to put some money on him being a future Ballon d'Or winner, the way he's progressing. And he's lucky in the fact that he's already at one of the best clubs in the world. So he's got the best players around him, the best coaches. You know, as long as he's got the ability and the drive to keep pushing forward in his career, he's got the world at his feet, really.
Even Guardiola was saying when Foden was kind of 17, 18, even Guardiola was likening him to Messi. And there haven't been many footballers with the talent that he has that's been able to come through with Guardiola as his manager for that many years. The most important years, in my opinion, for a footballer to be able to work on not necessarily the basics, but kind of honing the skill that you need to set you up for an amazing career. So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Palais, the young centre half of Guernsey, been the stalwart at the back as Guernsey is trying to
give me a thumbs up when ready, yeah?
for now. And
you don't need us on camera.
He's just gone close again. He's shot just wide there, but Bracknell all over Guernsey at the moment as they look to try and double their lead. It's still 1-0. The last game ended 3-0 at Foots Lane in Guernsey, where Dave Tarpey scored a hat-trick. He's on the bench today. Whether he'll be needed is another question, because Guernsey are really, really coming on. I should say Bracknell are coming on really, really strongly here. And you can tell why they're top of the league at the moment. They are so good at breaking the lines in between the midfield and getting in behind. Aaron McLeish-White and Seb Bauman are causing all sorts of trouble for the Guernsey back line. But it's still 1-0 at the moment. And who knows, Guernsey could grab a goal on the break. However, it has fallen back into that pattern of Bracknell playing in Guernsey's half and Guernsey defending the edge of their box with their lives at the moment.
Look forward to hearing from you, Saj. But now we go over to the Solent first team, who are unbeaten all season and have won the league and cup double for the first time, beating South Wales 4-0. Dan, what's going on? We'll just go back to Dan soon later on. George, anything going on in the PSG game at the moment?
Yeah, Paredes just had a decent chance on the edge of the box, probably about 20-25 yards out, and Leash went on his right foot. Arguably should have done better from there, really, considering the time and the space he had. But apart from that, it's a pretty even game. Both teams sort of probing so far. Madrid have sort of died off on the opening sort of presence that I said they had on the edge of the Paris box, but you know, PSG are now having their turn at possession, a bit of possession, playing it around in Madrid's half. They're happy to keep this game slow and to keep the ball, keep the score as it is. Messi is still operating. If I'd never watched this game before, if I'd never watched football before and didn't know who Messi was, I'd presume he's playing centre mid today, because he's playing so deep as Neymar just had a shot on his left, save again by Courtois. That's about 3 or 4 shots on target now PSG have had, but none of them have really tested the sort of big 6-foot-something frame of Courtois that much. But a pretty even game so far, but I'd actually say now PSG are really finding their way into it and are creating all the chances.
Oh, keep an eye on that closely. Go over to Hartlepool quickly. Since the goal, any updates, James?
Yeah, Rotherham have kind of come back into it, I would say. Dan Barlason, who's operating in like the number 4 position today, making his 100th appearance for Rotherham, and he's at the heart of everything good that's coming from them. To be honest, he's picking up the ball in the pocket, and he's really driving towards the Hartlepool defence. And he's really looking to make things happen. Other than that, to be honest, Rotherham were forced into their first change of the evening, as Jamie Lindsay was replaced by Mark Miller, and it looked to be due to a shoulder injury, as he was holding it and went straight down the tunnel as he came off.
Looks good up there at Hartlepool then, and we go over to Will. Will, any updates on the game?
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus has just played a lovely ball from the right wing. It's where he seems to have found himself this season. I think that's down to him wanting to try and get into the Brazil squad, and in doing so, he's had to make that shift out to the right hand side. But a lovely ball, lovely diagonal ball has been played over. He wants a penalty now, Jesus, just driving to the box. But Fernandinho playing a lovely diagonal ball over between the left back and their left centre back, and it's Foden with a shot. Foden with a lovely shot from the left hand side of the box, out for a corner. But yeah, Jesus picks the ball up. He's chested it down lovely on the right hand side, and fizzed the ball in across the 6-yard box. Sterling has made the hard yards to get there, and forced a save from the keeper. But Man City are piling on the pressure. Jesus asking for another penalty, and it's definitely a possible one. Maybe contact made just outside the box, but I don't think the Sporting defender got the ball at all there. But Man City continued to pile on the pressure. Foden with a pop shot from I think about 25 yards out, forcing another save and another corner for Man City here.
We now go over to Dan Perry, who is on the bus of the Solent team, who have just won the League and Cup double.
Mohammed.
Yeah, I'm here with the Solent manager, Alex Walker, after his team's huge 4-0 victory against the Uni of South Wales. Which
Dan,
go.
flip the camera. Flip the camera. It's just me.
So, Alex, firstly, can you sum up how the game was despite the final?
Obviously a huge occasion. I think in terms of how the game went, first sort of 10-15 minutes was difficult for us. They showed what quality outfit they were. They had a couple of first teamers playing as well. You could tell that straight away. So it was a little bit of a nervy start, as any cup final is. But the first goal was huge for us. It came at a really good point about halfway through the first half, and we started to really settle after that.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, first 15 minutes, sort of over the injury of Roosevelt and Carl.
Yeah.
How did that affect the tactics, or did it not affect the tactics?
No, it did massively. Well, they were two big players to lead the game early, especially with Carl. First of all, we brought on Camille and we shifted Kieran out to the right position. I think in a way that actually really worked really well for us, because Kieran started to get a lot of success on that right flank and started to perform really well. Camille was pushing for a start anyway, so I had absolutely no doubts about how he would perform, but especially in these situations as well, it's been such a big player for us over here. But bringing Tyler on, Tyler's a type of player who'll go and play any position for us, and he filled in at left back today against a really physical winger and just showed his class.
Yeah, and how proud are you knowing that you are the first ever Solent men's ones manager, to lead them to a League Cup double victory?
It's insane, it really is. I mean, when I started this at the summer, I got the job, and from where we were trying to build a team, you would never dream of being able to get all the success that you can get, and we've done it. We've gone invincible in the league, and we've gone and done a cup as well, and I just couldn't be prouder of the team that I've had from the start of the year, and they deserve everything from us. Just want to thank them. I just want to thank them for their commitment throughout in terms of the training every Monday, Friday. The Friday session's a difficult one to always try and motivate yourself for, because people want to get students, they want to go and enjoy the weekend. But they turned up every single week. They put in the work. They listened. They applied themselves, and I'm just so grateful to them.
And finally, like I said, with the Fridays, and it's been a long season. How do you plan to celebrate now?
I just plan to have a few Guinnesses. That's my drink of choice. I plan to get a few of them on me and just enjoy the rest of the season, because you don't get many of these nights. So we're just going to enjoy it all tonight.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, Dan. That was Alex Walker, first team manager of the League and Cup double champions, and that was the same with the fourth team as well. So Solent looking very good in the football today. We now go over to Will and see where the Man City game is and how they're going.
Yeah, Sporting are starting to get back into it a bit, Callum. They're starting to get a bit more possession. It's still 65% possession to Man City. They've got double the completed passes, and so they are naturally still controlling the game. But Sporting starting to play some nice football. They're moving it from left to right, and it's nice. Islam Somani a few minutes ago, the former Leicester man, was played in behind. Without having Ruben Diaz there, it's not the same back four. There isn't. Also, haven't got the likes of Kyle Walker and Cancelo to make those runs back and use their pace. So yeah, Sporting are starting to get back into the game. They're playing it nicely now on the left-hand side. Islam Slimani is wanting that ball in behind again, but Sporting starting to play some nice football.
Lovely. Now we go to Jordi Capella, who is our Spanish football expert. How do you think that Real Madrid will get on, Jordi? We'll come back to Jordi soon. We've got a bit of technical issues with his side of things. Evan, how do you think that Man City are doing in this game? They're obviously pushing on top as we thought they would, but and then looks like there's no way back in for Lisbon. What do you think?
Obviously, Man City are piling on the pressure here, and I don't know what Will thinks, but I'm surprised at how much they're letting Sporting get on the ball, and they might get dragged into, I know it's 5-0, but they might get dragged into a bit of a fight here, as Sporting are just getting behind, but Edson gets to the ball on the edge of the box. Yeah, they're getting dragged into a fight that they don't really want in a game where they're in control. I don't know what Will thinks.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the key point is the scoreline being 5-0 up. They don't necessarily need to exert tons of energy. It's a very, very intense way of playing the way City play with that high press. It's not exactly Leeds or Liverpool the way they press, but it's still very high. And I think that's exactly it. There just isn't that same need to press high on goal kicks, any passes that go astray. There just isn't that same need to do it, but because obviously of that, the 5-goal cushion they currently have.
And now we go off to live to Madrid, who Geordie is watching the Real Madrid game. How do you think it's getting on?
Hello, if you can hear me. I was saying before that if you're watching the game, every time the two teams find their best players, it's danger. Paris Saint-Germain usually plays like this. They defend so well, and if then they are able to find Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, they always create chances, and that's what they are doing in this first 30 minutes of the game. Fortunately, Real Madrid weren't able to find Benzema. Paris Saint-Germain are defending so well, and for this reason, Benzema has only had one chance during the match. That fantastic shot in the 27th minute of the game, which went close to the left hand post of Donnarumma's goal. But every time you see now Messi near the area, combining with Neymar, again Messi. Oh, what a chance Messi has missed. Now for Paris Saint-Germain, it's the same story in every Paris Saint-Germain game. Once they find their best players, be it Neymar, be it Mbappe, be it Messi, they are able to create chances in a few seconds. This mayhem in the Madrid area. So that's how they play, and that's the way they're going to create problems to Real Madrid during the whole game, I think.
Our experts also tell us that you're in the pub. How's the atmosphere around there?
Not many people around. In fact, I had to ask to watch the game because, as you know, Manchester City are playing against Sporting Lisbon, so main screens at the pub are tuned into Man City, but I managed to find a screen to follow this game, and I think there are quite a few people following Real Madrid here. But anyway, not a great ambience here at the pub where I'm watching this game, Real Madrid against Paris Saint-Germain. 0-0 still, 32 minutes into the first half.
Lovely, Geordie. We'll hope to get your thoughts on the end of the game. And now we go quickly over to Man City. How's Man City getting on?
They continue to pile the press on. Like Evan was saying, it's not as intense. But even their Sporting have just taken a short kick, and Man City are already pressing. Foden is right on the kick. They love to press in a certain way, trying to force their opponents to play in corners and in tight spaces, because they know that it's a lot harder to do that. So by making that space shorter for them, it's a lot easier for them. Sterling continue to pick up the ball with some nice spaces. Fernandinho's dictating the play really in this game, and it's so far. So far, job well done for Man City. They're controlling the ball. There's no need for them to score many goals. They're just keeping possession, trying to work the chances. And as long as they have the ball, they're going to win this game, and they're going to be through to the next round.
Lovely. We now go to Barnaby and George. How are things going up there, Barnaby?
I tell you, it's an even game so far here. Portchester have had the bigger chances. They've had a big, massive save from the Farnborough keeper. Hit the post once or twice as well. They're right up there Farnborough tonight, despite Farnborough dominating possession. I'm now live with Lewis, who's a Portchester fan. Lewis, how big of a game is this for you?
I mean, some would argue, I guess it's the biggest game in our history to date. I mean, we've been a club as AFC Portchester, not for, only a few decades, really, and coming up through the Hampshire League. So, yeah, some may argue that actually it's our biggest game. So, yeah, really excited to be here.
Okay. And do you think you'll be pushing on for more ambitious things after this, or?
Absolutely, that's the ambition. I think most people within the Wessex community would know that us, along with another few clubs in the local area, would have the ambition of trying to get up to the Southern League. I would argue that some of our facilities off the pitch are some of the best in the PO SO region. It's just getting it, as you know, right on the pitch, really. So, yeah, 100% is the ambition. So, we'll have to see how it goes next season, I guess.
And as half time's just blown, how do you think of the game? What do you think of the game so far?
I think we've fared really well. I mean, as you've just been saying, we've had three chances. It'd been lovely to put one of them away, but if we keep playing as we are, I really hope we can get that goal and just hang on, really, and try and get to the final. So.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. And as half time is blown here, it's 0-0 here at Farnborough. Even game so far, but yeah, both teams are in it so far.
Thank you very much to Barnaby and to Lewis. We quickly go to George. George, there's been an update.
Yeah, PSG have finally got that ball in the back of the net. They had Nuno Mendes down the left-hand side, the PSG left-back. Lovely cutback for that man, Mbappe. Tucked the ball away, he runs off celebrating. He does his arms folding celebration, and then they've pulled it back for offside. It's been ruled out for the left-back. Mendes was offside in the build-up, but a nicely worked goal anyway, although it was chalked off, even though Mbappe probably feels slightly silly now. That's really his... The best chance so far, apart from the ones that Geordie mentioned earlier, with that fantastic curling effort from Karim Benzema, who we also mentioned earlier. He's definitely been Madrid's bright spark going forward, forcing a fantastic save from Donnarumma on his left-hand side. But yeah, some real serious chances being created now. PSG with 60% possession so far, and it's a really brilliant game.
Geordie, how was the atmosphere in the pub after that goal, or disallowed goal in the end? Can you just quickly unmute for us? Quickly just unmute for us, we still can't hear. Obviously Mbappe scoring there, and it looks quite good for PSG. Obviously the only chance, but we'll try and get Geordie's update as soon as we possibly can to see how the reception is in the pub. At the moment it's half time at Dundee and St Mirren, still 0-0. Hartlepool go still one up at Rotherham. Man City is still 0-0, and Real Madrid PSG 0-0. James, can you tell us quickly about how Hartlepool are doing? Rotherham, it's just hit half-time. How's the...
Yeah, well, the last 10 minutes of that half was pretty mental, to be honest. The intensity has been crazy so far, to be honest. We did have another incident with another potential red card. The Hartlepool striker, Bogle, looked to be played through on goal by Crawford. O'Duffin brought him down, and he looked to be last man, to be honest, in my opinion, and I think he was fortunate to get away with just a yellow card. And then shortly after that we had another massive chance for Luke Monaghan, who's been a live wire in this first half. This time a free kick from the left was played in behind the defence, and his half volley on his weaker right foot was just tipped past the post by Johansson in the Rotherham net. Another thing I would say to look out for in the second half is Michael Smith for Rotherham. Although they've had a lot of possession, his influence is actually growing in this game, and he's actually been very good at causing problems in between the lines, as his big frame allows him to hold up the ball quite effectively and bring other teammates into the game. So yeah, I'd say that's something to look forward to in the second half.
Lovely. We will come back for your second half updates. Geordie, how's the feeling in the pub?
As I was saying before, I think there are some Real Madrid fans here in the pub yelling and shouting when Karim Benzema has had a chance 2 minutes ago, a header that went straight into the hands of Gianluigi Donnarumma. You know, it's normal, and you could sense that Real Madrid were in for a high pressing game, especially in the first minutes, because of course they have to score a goal to level this tie. But Paris Saint-Germain are defending quite well, and as George was also saying, the thing is, every time they find Mbappe, they create chances, or Neymar or Messi. They are a fantastic counter-attacking side, and now they have a real chance with Kylian Mbappe on the left-hand side of the attack, and there's a goal! And there's a goal by Paris Saint-Germain, by Kylian Mbappe, in the 39th minute of the game, and this will not be disallowed by referee Danny Macaulay. What a great goal, what a great counter-attack. Just two movements, just two passes from Paris Saint-Germain's defense through to Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe is unbeatable when he has space in front of him, when he can test his speed. What an assist! What an assist, really, by Neymar. And Kylian Mbappe in front of David Alaba shoots to the right-hand side of Thibaut Courtois near the post. It's such a fantastic, such a lightning bolt goal by Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain 1, Real Madrid 0. Courtois has touched the ball, but the ball went in. It's very difficult now for Real Madrid to qualify for the quarterfinals of this UEFA Champions League, but let's see what happens. It's 15 minutes to go until the end of the game, and at Santiago Bernabeu, as Real Madrid fans used to say, the games are longer than in other stadiums.
Lovely, thank you very much for that, Geordie. We'll go to George. George, can you describe the goal for us?
Yeah, fantastic on the counter-attack. As we predicted, PSG would be a lovely first-time round the corner ball from Neymar, the man I gave some stick pre-kickoff to go and get an assist. He sets Mbappe off down the left-hand side again, giving Carvalho yet more nightmares, and he's given Courtois the eyes. He's done him. Courtois thinks he's going across goal, and Mbappe just tucks it home at the near post. Courtois probably should have done better, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, but Mbappe's given him the eyes. I tipped him for a goal, so I'm rather happy, and Mbappe's got one.
Lovely, we'll come back to you for those more updates. And we're back to Saj with goals.
It's not quite a goal, however, it has gone half-time here at the SB Stadium. Bracknell lead 1-0, and Guernsey will be very happy to go down the tunnel, only 1-0 down, because they were really under the cosh here against the runaway league leaders. However, just before the break, name that might ring a bell for the Southampton viewers there. Glenn Letitia, the nephew of Matt Letitia, had a near chance for Guernsey from a long throw from Jamie Dodd, the captain. He threw it in, and from a second ball, Glenn Letitia almost made connection with it. However, it got cleared away, and then he got into a bit of a tussle. A bit like Matt Letitia for Southampton, he wouldn't back away from a fight. He's got that winning mentality. The Southampton legend. However, it is Guernsey that are behind here, and they have a monumental task to overturn even a one-goal deficit against this side who have kept 18 clean sheets all season. They really, really are tight at the back. They've got the best defensive record out of the top 7 leagues, so it is a really tough ask for Guernsey, and the Bracknell lot will be confident of extending their lead. They maybe should have had 2 or 3 in this first half. However, there's still 45 minutes to play, but halfway to almost being 3 points off of the title here for Bracknell Town. They are the runaway leaders in this division, and 3 points should do it for them due to their superior goal difference. However, 4 points will automatically, mathematically, confirm them as champions. So, half-time here, 1-0 to Bracknell.
Thank you very much, Saj. We'll come back to you in the second half for more updates. Now we'll go over to Will and Evan. How are Man City getting on?
They're starting to show more signs of intensity. Raheem Sterling was played through just moments ago. Tried to dink the keeper. The keeper just managed to claw it back into his grip. And just then, Gabriel Jesus making a run in from that right-hand side, again in between the left back and the left centre back. It's where those runs are being made, and he nearly got in there. There was a little nick on the ball from the centre back that just managed to tip it out of his way. The City continuing, they're not stepping up a gear. They're just continuing the way they're playing. Foden, it seems like Man City are quite content with kind of sitting behind the ball, trying to force the way Sporting are playing. But Foden seems adamant that they're going to press high. And he's the one leading the line, playing as that central false 9 figure, and he's really adamant on trying to press. But the rest of the team don't really seem as bothered. Maybe that's a good thing; it shows his intensity, or maybe it's a bit of naiveness in youth. But yeah, Man City, they're going strong. They're showing no sign of upping intensity, but it feels like if they wanted to shift into 4th or 5th gear, they could definitely do so.
And Evan, obviously Man City on top in that game, looked like quite comfortable. Do you see any way for Sporting to get back into this?
No, I think, like we said before the game, I think this isn't a match that Sporting were coming in to win, but just to prove that they've got some integrity about them. and I think they've done well so far. They've defended well for the first half with just a minute to go now. And when they get out, they try and draw a foul just to give themselves a bit of a breather. So I think their intentions are clear about just trying to keep the scoreline low, maybe grab a goal on the counter attack and see out the game.
We'll go over quickly to Hartlepool versus Rotherham half time. Anything going on too much before that?
No, I'll be honest with you. No, not a lot has happened here, to be honest. Obviously, as I mentioned before, Michael Smith's influence is growing. I think that's something to keep an eye on in the second half. But no, nothing really to mention here at the moment.
And that is Man City going in at half time at 0-0. PSG Real Madrid. Any updates, George?
Yeah. I thought Messi was through there. Could have had another goal for Paris, but no, not to be. That PSG goal was sort of woken Real Madrid up, really. They really needed that, as sort of Geordie said previously. That was a brilliant header from Benzema, a great lofted ball in from Toni Kroos in midfield over to Benzema at the back post, peeling off the back of Marquinhos, who he's had in his back pocket all game, and heading just wide. As I said earlier, Benzema's been really Real Madrid's only bright spark. It looks like if they're going to score, it's going to come through him. But the front three, Neymar, Mbappe and Messi, are really interlinking well, playing some nice football. Messi's picking the ball up and running with it and playing some quick interlinking passes with his two fellow attackers, and yeah, it's looking pretty good for PSG here.
And on that note, Geordie, Mbappe is doing really well, obviously, and excellent, obviously, in this game, but looks to be looking towards going to Madrid on a massive contract. What are your thoughts on this?
We still don't know. And in fact, every time Mbappe says something that can bring him closer to Real Madrid, of course, these are big headlines in the Spanish press. Yesterday, I remember Marca publishing. He was looking at the stadium. He was bemused at what he was seeing with the development of the new Santiago Bernabeu. But let's see, because of course Paris Saint-Germain wants to keep him a key man, such in this play, for example, Neymar with a pass by Mbappe into the danger zone. Ball is still near Thibaut Courtois goal, but finally he can manage to get this ball. So chance by Paris Saint-Germain. Mbappe the key man now for the French side, and that's half time. Danny Mackley has blown his whistle. That's half time. As I said, Benzema is creating mayhem in the Real Madrid defense with his speed, with his pace. Let's see if Real Madrid fans can enjoy him dressed in white the next season. Of course, that's the dream of many fans, for many supporters, for Real Madrid chairman Florentino Perez. But I think Paris Saint-Germain will battle until the end to keep Kylian Mbappe in Paris, because if they really want to win the Champions League, Kylian Mbappe is such an instrumental player, and he's showing that today for sure.
And in the other direction, Erling Haaland might be going towards Barcelona. Which one would you rather have in your team?
Well, we have to see, because there's other teams that won. Erling brought Haaland, Manchester City. In fact, yesterday Barcelona released not a statement, but like kind of an off the record, saying that they thought Manchester City were in pole position for getting Erling brought Haaland for next season, not Barcelona. But I think for the Barcelona style of play, you need a striker who is intelligent. I'd rather see Benzema playing for Barcelona rather than Erling Braut Haaland. I mean, they need a striker who's intelligent, who reads the game, who can combine with the other players in the attacking zone. You don't need a player that wants balls, wants crosses, and tries to put into the net whenever he gets. If they give him a refrigerator, he puts the refrigerator into the goal mouth. That's not the kind of striker they want at Barcelona. They need a more intelligent striker. So I don't think at all that Erling Braut Haaland would suit into Xavi's scheme. But and I remember right now, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who went to Barcelona in 2010 under Pep Guardiola, and it didn't work. You can't remember, it didn't work. He left after his first season in Barcelona. So the Barcelona way of playing requires a special striker. But Erling Braut Haaland is now one of the big names, in international football. He is a brand like Kylian Mbappe. So for La Liga, bringing Mbappe, bringing Haaland to La Liga, it helps restore the prestige of the brand that has been lost in the last few years, because Messi's playing now for Paris Saint-Germain, Cristiano Ronaldo is playing now again for Manchester United after playing for Juventus. So La Liga needs world-class players again. They don't have these players right now. Ferran Torres is not a world-class player. Benzema is, but Benzema being 35 this year is the main attraction right now, maybe in La Liga. So Memphis is not a let's say a world-class player. Memphis Depay playing for Barcelona, so they need a big name. And I think the chairman of La Liga, Javier Tebas, dreams about bringing Mbappe to Real Madrid and Erling Braut Haaland to Barcelona, because it would be fantastic for the prestige and the publicity for the Spanish Championship.
And you mentioned there that Benzema would be a perfect fit for Barcelona. Do you reckon that's something that they could even look into and go for? Obviously, you've seen Figo and players like that have switched to other sides.
No. There's no chance of Benzema going to Barcelona. In addition, he will be, as I said, 35 this summer. So no way. But I was talking about this kind of player. You don't need for Barcelona a striker, a centre forward who only runs through the area. You need a striker who can play deeper, go to midfield to claim the ball, try to get associated with the wingers. A centre forward that can't read how Barcelona play. Not only a target man, not a classic number 9. They need another kind of striker. I see Haaland, although he's a very good striker, but I see him more as a target man than this kind of striker. For example, I've been surprised by Dusan Vlahovic, former Fiorentina player who's now playing for Juventus, because he's tall, he's strong. You would probably think about him as a target man, but he's not. He's such an intelligent striker. Barcelona could have signed a year ago Dusan Vlahovic from Fiorentina for 15 million euros, only 15 million euros. They didn't want to sign him. I think it was such a big error. But Haaland, I'm not sure if he will fit into Xavi's scheme if they really finally bring Haaland to Barcelona. Anyway, Barcelona has a plan B if they can't bring Haaland, and if Erling Haaland finally goes to Manchester City. Let's see how he fits into Pep Guardiola's scheme, which, as you know, is similar to Barcelona's one. But Barcelona have a plan B, another striker. Difficult to imagine, but let's see how it goes. There's lots of transfer speculation, so we are in early March. We have to see how everything is developing.
Well, thank you very much, Geordie. We'll come back to you in the second half
You're
to see how the vibe in the pub is. Half-time scores, 0-0 at Dundee and St Mirren, Hartlepool 1, Rotherham 0, Man City 0, Sporting 0, Real Madrid 0, PSG 1. If you head over to our Solent Sports J on Twitter and send us some debate topics for half-time. In terms of that, Mbappe, all about Mbappe at half-time. George, would you agree?
Yeah, pretty much. I think he's dominated this first half really, along with Messi. Neymar must have heard what we were saying before the game, and he's turned up a fair amount in the first half, getting a nice assist. For that Mbappe goal with a nice ball round the corner on his left foot. Like I say, Messi he's pulling the strings already. He's dropping so incredibly deep into midfield. He is pretty much playing as a centre midfielder, but all the best chances have really gone PSG's way. With a couple for Real Madrid all falling to Benzema, and again, as previously said already, anything that's going to come from Real Madrid is definitely going to come through Benzema, because he's playing well and he looks like their only real threat going forward. So they've got some serious work to do if they want to get back in this tie.
And obviously Benzema Mbappe, being one of the best young players in the world, and being argued for him and Haaland to take up the air of Ronaldo and Messi. But people are forgetting about Phil Foden, who seems to be running the show quite well at Man City. How are they getting on, Evan?
Yeah, I think you think about big names, and Foden never really comes into the argument. To be honest, I'm not really sure why, because if you watch Phil Foden play football, it's mesmerising. The how quick he can move his feet and all the aspects of his game that he brings in. But while we're on the topic of Mbappe, I just want to throw this question out. Do people think that Mbappe has to leave the Ligue 1 and go to, say, the Prem or to Real Madrid to be marked as one of the world's best? Or can he stay there and just see out his career?
There's definitely a debate about when you want to make it onto the European scene. That's kind of when you announce yourself to the world, when you can do it on the European scene. And PSG haven't really done that yet. I mean, they have some amazing players, but much like City, that European trophy has eluded them. And maybe it's a case of getting out of the Messi shadow or the Neymar shadow, being that kind of, that main man. He hasn't really been that main figure in a team, and potentially, but to be honest, PSG are a good enough side. Maybe the fact that the French league isn't taken as seriously as the German league or the Spanish league, or definitely the Premier League. So maybe he does need to leave the French league, and because that was a debate even about Messi even until before he came to PSG. Oh, we know he can do it in Spain, but can he do it in another league? And maybe that same question needs to be asked about Mbappe. I don't know about you, George.
Well, we'll quickly come back to George in a second, because we've got Saj on the line. Saj, what is happening in Bracknell?
Guernsey have really started strong in this second half as they're trying to find an equaliser here. They've had the chance cleared off the line. The youngster Keane Domar, who was forced on due to an injury to Carl Smith, has had a chance cleared off the line. He rounded the goalkeeper and tried to squirm it in from a tight angle. However, it was cleared off the line by the Bracknell captain. The resulting corner also led to another huge chance. Jacob Falaise again rising higher, beating the goalkeeper at his near post. However, his header just missed out on the near post and fell just wide. But Guernsey are really coming on strong here as they look to try and get back into this game and steal a point here against a side that very, very rarely drop points. They've only dropped points in 3 games this season, so it'd be a major scalp. However, there's been a player down injured now, so it's still 1-0 here, but Guernsey are coming on strong.
Okay, we will go to George and Barnaby in a minute at Farnborough, but first, there's been a goal at Rotherham.
Yeah, it was initially some lovely work down the left-hand side from Bowler, who beat 2 men in the tightest of spaces. I honestly don't know how he managed to get out of it. He drove towards the box. He was taken out just on the edge. The resulting free kick's been whipped in, and that man Michael Smith has rose the highest in the middle to nod it home from just inside the 6-yard box. Yeah, so it's 1-1, game on.
That's his 18th goal of the season for Rotherham. And now we go over to George Rees-Julian. How are we doing, George?
Yeah, we've moved in amongst the fans. You may be able to hear them cheering. The Farnborough fans, there's a lot of them here tonight. They're all behind the goal. And to be honest, in the first 5 minutes of this second half, Farnborough have come out the quickest. They've already hit the post. Mitchell Parker, fresh off the bench, was a half-time substitute. He rattled the post from just outside the box. It's only a matter of time before Farnborough take the lead in this game.
Lovely, George. We'll come back to you when that happens. In terms of, we'll go back to the Mbappe sort of result and whether he has to move. George, what is your opinions on that?
Yeah, I mean, the argument of him having to move to a different team to win, sort of prove himself in Europe, I don't know. I mean, if he's not going to win the Champions League and same goes for the whole PSG team, if they're not going to win the Champions League with this set of players, and I don't know where you're going to go to win the Champions League. They really should be winning it with this lineup they've got for this season. But I don't know. I think he can still be seen as one of the best players ever, and definitely still raking a few Ballon d'Ors in the future. He's that good, even if he did stay at PSG. But in terms of the honours argument, I think that has to be brought into the argument of how good a player is what they've won in their career. And I think like Will said, he'll have to move away from PSG to bring that side of his argument forward, because overall on a personal level and a player level, that he can be one of the best, talent-wise, best players ever. As I say, it's got to be brought into the argument what they've won. So I think he would need to move away from PSG if he wanted to bring in some more meaningful trophies, whether that be a Premier League. Most likely he'll go to La Liga. I can't imagine ever seeing him in the Premier League. And also performances with the national team. Obviously, he's won a World Cup already, so that's one ticked off the off the list. Had a pretty poor Euros. You got to make sure that you don't make that too much of a regular occurrence. One of Wayne Rooney's biggest criticisms was that he never particularly turned up for England at a tournament. I think that can really sort of affect people's opinions on these sort of arguments. But yeah, I think I'd like to see him move away from PSG to a Real Madrid or a Barca or wherever to really challenge himself outside the French league.
Yeah, and that international point was what I was just come across as. Do you think that Will? Do you think that Phil Foden hasn't been put in that category because of his either his failings with England and not putting that much on as Mbappe has with France?
I think I believe the fact that he's English is actually not helping him, because we never really instantly think of English players being world class. We have the likes of Kane, and I'm sure everyone around the world would consider him a world class. Maybe even, in my opinion, I think he's the best striker in the world. But we don't really look on our English players as being world class. We have to give ourselves some more credit. We have a lot of world class players on our team, and Foden is definitely one of them. Maybe he's still yet to have as many kind of seasons as a first team regular player. Last year was really his first breakout season. So I definitely think he's not in that conversation yet, but he's definitely in the last few months definitely starting to become more recognised. And I think by the World Cup in Qatar, he'll be considered one of the, not even one of the best youngsters in the world, but one of the best footballers in the world. And I think playing in a team like Man City, giving him that more give him more exposure, giving him more European football, that's definitely going to help him.
Yeah, I totally agree. We've now got Kit McIntosh into the studio. He's going to give us an update on the Solent basketball team. How's it going?
Well, it was a tough loss for Solent tonight that came down to the final buzzer and saw them crash out of the national playoff semi-final. Durham came out firing on all cylinders, but Solent swiftly got back into the game, and at numerous points during the first half they found themselves ahead, but only for Durham to keep the game close, and they actually found themselves, Durham that is, found themselves up on top 35-31 at the break. Into the second half, and the home side appeared to lose their grasp on the game, with Durham taking a 9-point lead shortly into the third quarter. But Solent fought back again, and the final minutes of the game saw frequent score changes as the two Prem sides exchanged three-pointers. From there, the game was tied repeatedly, with the fans giving a standing ovation to every point, foul and change of possession that occurred. But in the end, all the fighting was to no success, and unfortunately, Solent conceded a free throw with 2 seconds on the clock, one that Durham made, giving them a 70-69 victory and allowing them to reach the reach the Premier final, to the disappointment of the home fans. But currently there is no word on who they will be facing, as the results are yet to be released from the Loughborough and Newcastle game.
Thank you very much, Kit. We have seen a goal here at Manchester City. What's going on, Will?
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus has found himself on the left-hand side of the box. Ball's been played to him by Riyad Mahrez. He's taken this touch inside the box, past his man, and he slotted it in the near corner. There's a VAR check going on at the moment. There might be an issue with his shoulder and the top part of his body being just offside. It's the barest of margins, and the check is complete. The goal is it? The goal has been ruled out for offside. It's been ruled out for offside. Like I say, it's the barest of margins. He's just off. It's a lovely ball by Mahrez, and he's taking it in a stride just beyond the centre back, so he can't go back at him, and he's stuck it near corner, but it's maybe inches in it. There's inches in this one. It's a very, very close call, but he is just offside.
And there's been a goal at Hartlepool, 12th in League 2, but who's got the goal here? We go over to James.
It has gone in favour of the home side. They've responded very well to Rotherham's early equaliser in the second half. It was that man, Luke Molyneux. He's been a live wire all game. And he found some space on the right-hand side of the box. It was Iron Robin-like the way he picked up the ball and shifted it onto his left foot. I have to say, he does have a wanderer left foot. And he sorted it so calmly past the keeper to restore Hartlepool's 2-1 lead. Rotherham did actually make a double change at half-time, and it looked as if that change of formation was working, as they actually shifted from a back three to a back four to allow that extra man to push into midfield. But unfortunately, they got caught in a transition there, and Luke Molyneux is devastating on the break.
We will keep an eye on that, as it seems like both teams don't want to go to penalties again for the second time in that competition. George, the second half's kicked off at PSG. How's it getting on?
Yeah, we're only in the 47th minute, so not much yet, but Real Madrid are probing here on the edge of PSG's box. They've started off the second half quite assured in possession, but they're going to need to be doing a bit more than that really to get themselves back in this tie. It looks as though PSG are possibly starting to drop a little bit deeper now. The front three are starting to squeeze very, very thin as well, with not much width. So it looks as though possibly PSG's approach for the second half is going to be more defensive and trying to cling on now to that 2-0 lead in the tie.
Thank you very much. We'll come back to you for more. Evan, obviously the goal disallowed, rightfully so?
Yeah, the lines have come out, and it's close, very, very close, but it is offside. But I'm just thinking the goals come very early at the start of the second half, so this might be some more intention from Man City to go out and get a few goals and really big up that scoreline that's already at 5-0 on aggregate.
You never know what Guardiola's saying at half-time. Maybe he's come out and he's not happy. Maybe he wants to show more positivity and intensity, and just to put that message out there to the rest of the European giants that we're not sleeping anymore. We want this European trophy. Or maybe he's happy with the way it is. You know, they've still got some big games coming up. They're only 6 points ahead of Liverpool in the league. Liverpool are right on their tail, and Liverpool in a very good position in terms of the momentum they have right now. So maybe, you know, Guardiola just wants them to be a little bit more reserved. We'll have to wait and see.
And in terms of the Sporting side, has that goal sort of kicked them up the bum a little bit and sort of looking towards it?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, Sporting, you know, they're still defending resolutely. To be fair to them, they're not coming forward too much. Islam Slimani, the former Leicester man, has shown real intensity in terms of he wants that ball played just over the top of the defence. Man City playing a very high line. Slimani isn't the quickest of strikers, as we've seen in the Prem in recent years, but he's really asking for that ball to be played over the top. There's definitely, there's definitely options there to get some outlets down that kind of central area between the centre back and the left back.
And we'll go quickly off to Hartlepool and Rotherham. Rotherham going 2-1 down now. James, has there been any sort of push from Rotherham?
Yeah, it looks like Rotherham are going to make another change actually in response to going 2-1 down. Absolutely brilliant strike from Barlassen, who I mentioned earlier. He's been absolutely brilliant tonight. The ball's come trickling out to him on the edge of the box, and it's great technique to keep his head over the top of the ball. And he's almost beaten the keeper with an absolute screamer. Actually clipping the top of the crossbar there. But it's been, in general, it's been a good response from Rotherham, who I expect to get back into the game if they keep playing like this.
Well, again, as we said, it looks like that they want penalties to be gone in that game, as both going for it. In the PSG game, is there any chance of a Real Madrid comeback?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say at the moment. I think Madrid, as I said a few minutes ago, are probing, but not looking particularly clinical at the moment. PSG look fantastic on the counter attack. You'd think they have Sam Allardyce in charge instead of Pochettino, because they're just going for long balls over the top whenever they get the chance, and their front three are just ready on the shoulder, on the halfway line, trying to counter. One ball just went all the way over the top to Neymar then just about a minute or so ago. So this really is going to be the game now, I think, really. Madrid having a lot of possession and PSG just trying to nick the odd goal on counter-attack.
Obviously, we spoke before the game a little bit about Vinicius and Benzema. Have they created anything? Do they look like the bright spark for Real Madrid?
Yeah, as I've been saying all game, really, Benzema's looking like the only one who's going to cause any sort of problems to that PSG back line. He's had Marquinhos in his pocket really all game. Marquinhos has struggled a little bit. Wow, massive Paul Scholes style volley there on the edge of the box from a corner from Real Madrid. That was from Valverde, about 40 yards out. If that had gone in, that would have been Champions League goal of the season. But yeah, Benzema's looking like the one to cause any problems for PSG. And he's starting to drop a little bit deeper now into that hot number 10 sort of role. Possibly getting a bit frustrated, but yeah, something really needs to start happening soon for Madrid.
And Evan, in terms of Man City, who looks like to be the man that will break the deadlock over there?
I'd say it's got to be Sterling or Foden. They just look so. When they get the ball, you can see their intent, especially Foden. He just wants to keep getting forward, keeps asking it to his feet, just really wants to attack, get his Champions League goals up, and see this game out for City.
It's also worth saying Riyad Mahrez has come on for Bernardo Silva. He's been in some great form recently. He's also been going under the radar, especially in the Prem. He's scored quite a few goals this season, so Riyad Mahrez is on the pitch now.
And we'll go over to James. James, anything happen at Rotherham Hartlepool?
Yeah, we've had another goal. It's that man Michael Smith again. I have to say his presence in the box is quite unbelievable. He's a massive striker and he looks to be absolutely excellent in the air. That recent change from Rotherham, the substitute actually played the ball in and it was a quality ball with his left foot, I have to say. And Michael Smith again rose the highest and headed it down into the corner to make it 2-2. Yeah, it's been an excellent second half so far.
And it's been a while since we've heard from Bracknell and Saj. But it's been a while since we've been to Bracknell with Saj. Saj, what's going on?
I can't say there's been much going on, really. I mean, Guernsey have been the better side in this half. They've had 2 chances cleared off the line, but other than that, it's been turned quite scrappy and it's getting a bit feisty. Tony Barnes, the Guernsey manager, is absolutely irate at the referee at the moment in the middle of the park. However, yeah, not much goal mouth action here at the SB Stadium. But Guernsey looked the more likely. It didn't seem very likely that Guernsey would be mis-attacking in the second half. However, they've come out almost a different side, really, and trying their best to break this almost impenetrable defence. The beauty of non-league, though, you've got the fans behind the goal giving Guernsey's 17-year-old goalkeeper some sticks. So the 17-year-old is doing well to keep his side in the game. And he's given as good as he's got, really. He's been very brave and he's probably been Guernsey's man of the match so far with the amount of saves he made in the first half. However, yeah, not really much goal-mouth action here. The game's turned quite scrappy. But even a 1-0 defeat for Guernsey would be a good result in the larger scheme of things, as they're the runaway leaders and have been scoring goals for fun. So still 1-0 here at Bracknell. However, there's not too long left, probably around 20 minutes left, as Guernsey look to cause an upset.
Always good to hear Saj's voice despite a bit of a stale game out there in Bracknell at the moment. George, can you tell us more about that offside goal?
Yeah, well, I said he was giving Carvalho nightmares, but Mbappe's having the game of dreams here tonight. He's playing unbelievable. That's his hat-trick, although 2 of them have been ruled out for offside. Another counter-attack down the left-hand side. Mbappe's through. He's one-on-one with Courtois, and he sends Courtois back to Chelsea. Just beautiful step over, whips it out onto his left foot, and possible penalty? No, probably not. A lovely little step over his right foot from Mbappe, shifts it onto his left, sends Courtois, like I say, just on his rear, and tucks it away. But the linesman spoils the party and calls him offside. And if he's auditioning for a place at Real Madrid next season, then Mbappe's definitely got that tonight.
And we're going to have a quick update from Nima about the Manchester United under-18 semi-final against Wolves. What's going on, Nima?
Yes, it's finished 3-0 Man United. They're through to the final against either Nottingham Forest or Chelsea, which will also take place at Old Trafford in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, it's been a really good performance from Man United tonight, especially man of the match, I'd have to say, without a doubt, Alejandro Garnacho, who's also just been called up to the Argentinian national team with the likes of Messi, Di Maria, so you could tell what they rate of him. And Ralph Rangnick, who is definitely in the stands tonight watching him, has surely got a player for the future and definitely can push for the first team.
Thank you very much, Nima. And yeah, Garnacho looking towards first team football at Manchester United and getting first team football at Argentina potentially, which would be quite a good experience, getting alongside, as we've heard, the likes of Messi tonight. We'll go over to Man City now. Sporting maybe looking towards trying to get something out of this game, even if it was more likely looking like a consolation. What's going on, Will?
Yeah, Marcus Edwards has just come on, the former Spurs man. He got one senior cap for Spurs. He joined the club when he was 8 years old. He represented England at under 20 level. He's just come on and he's burst down the right wing. Zinchenko was trying to jockey him, but he managed to shift half the yard to his right foot. But it was a tame effort really into Ederson. But it's starting to show a little bit more intensity. Ironically, both sets of fans are now in the stand doing the Bosnan, the celebration where you face away from the goal and all link arms and jump up and down. It's kind of, I don't really think anyone in the stadium is really caring about the result anymore, to be honest. Both sets of fans are just there for a bit of a laugh, really. That's quite funny. But Slimani is still working really hard. He's still putting the defence under pressure. Sporting is starting to get a little bit of foothold in the game, but Gundogan just surging forward there, using a bit of experience during the foul, getting his body in between the defender and the ball, and City just continuing in cruise control, third gear. They could definitely step up if they wanted to. Foden also came off recently, so that's another sign that maybe they're starting to kind of just wind down and manage the game as Guardiola probably would want to happen.
Well, Sporting fans obviously enjoying themselves despite even a potential poor result. Hopefully can get a couple of goals to make things a little more interesting. One game that's still well in the balance in a semi-final is Hartlepool-Rotherham. Michael Smith getting a brace there. How does he look at the moment? Do they look like pushing on for more?
To be fair, it looks like Hartlepool are coming massively back into this game. They've had a couple of chances recently, and a massive one with Luke Molyneux again. His movement's been sensational tonight, and he's been picked out on the edge of the area. He's hit a sweet first-time effort with his left foot, which was well saved by Johansson. However, Johansson did actually parry the ball straight into Bogle, who was free in the 6-yard box with a goal gaping, and somehow he's managed to put his header wide. I'm not entirely sure how he managed it, but it looks like Hartlepool are coming back into it.
And now we go over to Switch Sports and we go to cricket. Adam, what's going on with the cricket?
Well, I'm not going to lie, not a lot. Actually, we've had a couple of rain delays, which has really broken the game up. And however, the West Indies are now currently letting loose a bit. The runs are starting to flow with Bonner and Holder both hitting some lusty boundaries. And so 188 for 4. You'd say the West Indies are gonna go into the close of play the happier of the two sides.
Can I ask a quick question for Adam, just a quick question, Adam, for you on the situation with England and the issue with the opening batting pairs, and especially the issue that England had in the Ashes. What do you think that the issue is with the opening batsman for England, and how do you think that problem can be solved? Is it more of like a younger level, trying to get more cricketers involved? Because it does seem like there's a bit of a lack of quality since the years of Andrew Strauss, Kevin Peterson, Alistair Kirk, those sorts of names.
Yeah, I'd say there definitely has to be there's definitely been a shift when you go from the likes of Strauss and Cook, like you said. You're always going to struggle to find players like that, but you're going to have to say that you're just going to have to give it time, like Lees and Crawley.
We'll go over to George very quickly. George, what's happened in the PSG game?
Sorry to interrupt the cricket, but Benzema's tuck went away. He's got his goal. I knew it would be him. They're back in the tie, Real Madrid. I don't know what on earth is going on here for PSG. Let's watch this back. Donnarumma, I don't know what he's doing. He's still in Milan or something. I don't know what he's doing. He gets tackled by Benzema. Out to Vinicius, just sweaty across the 6-yard box. Benzema tucks it into an open net. Fantastic goal. Well, no, not a fantastic goal for Madrid. Not a very good goal for PSG. I don't know what they're playing at, but they're back in this tie now. 2-1. Sorry, back to the cricket.
Yeah, back to you, Adam.
Yeah, so basically, just like I think England just need to give Crawley and Lee some time. If you keep changing, then you're never going to get a settled lineup. And yeah, we just got to keep seeing. We're going to go through some more rough months before it gets better. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to ride the wave.
Thank you very much to Adam for the cricket update. Now we go over to Bracknell. Saj, there's been a goal, but for who?
I was saying that Guernsey have been coming on strong in this game. However, the goal has gone down the other end. It's Daniel Bayless that rose highest at the back post from a corner, and the header's looped over Lucas Hanley at the back post, and it's gone in there. Bracknell lead 2-0 now, and it looks to be game, set and match for Bracknell, who moved within 4 points of the title here, and the heads of the Guernsey players visibly gone down now as they seem to have accepted the defeat. They did have a good period in the half. However, Daniel Bayless, acrobatics on his own goal line, the centre half, clearing off his line, and he's gone and almost certainly sealed all 3 points here for Bracknell as it's 2-0 with 10 minutes to play.
Lovely. We'll see you at full for any more updates. Saj, love to hear from you. And now we go over to George Rees-Julian. George, what is happening over there at Farnborough?
Yeah, there's been a goal at Farnborough at last, and it's Farnborough who've taken the lead through substitute Mitchell Parker. He got the ball just inside the box. He turned, he beat a player, and he fired it into the far right-hand corner. Farnborough deserved that goal. They've been on top, I'd say, for the whole 75 minutes. And straight after the goal, Terrell Egbury, who's been their star man down the right-hand side, he broke down the right and he cracked it off the crossbar. That's the 4th time now the ball's hit the woodwork. We wish they'd have gone in because other than the goal, nothing really has happened. But Farnborough, they look like they're set to make their way to the final to play Eastleigh.
Lovely to hear from you, George. We now can potentially go to Geordie in the pub, who's looking very happy in their game as there's been another goal for Real Madrid to make it 1-1. Geordie, what's the vibe there in the pub?
As I said before, there are some Real Madrid supporters here celebrating Real Madrid's goal. It was a really silly goal by Karim Benzema. He was intelligent in pressing Donnarumma, but sometimes modern goalkeepers are too orthodox in this way of playing from the back and being the last defender, trying to give short passes in front of their goal mouth. That's so dangerous. That was really bad judgment from Gianluigi Donnarumma, because in certain situations you have to get rid of the ball. It's easy as that. I know you see it so often in English lower leagues maybe, and you're tired of that, but it's the best solution in situations like this one in which you feel under pressure by the striker. You're winning 1-0, you have this tie in your favor, and now everything becomes a little bit more difficult for Paris Saint-Germain, because as I was telling before, games at the Bernabeu can feel much longer for the visiting team, and now Real Madrid will press. Benzema has had a very good chance with a brilliant header, and now what a chance. It was previously disallowed, but what a shot by Vinicius, who will be for sure an important man with his speed, with his pace in this last half hour of the game. So everything's open. Madrid need another goal to go into extra time. Paris Saint-Germain had the best, even if they had not possession in this game, but they were in clear advantage. Now thanks to or because of this error by Gianluigi Donnarumma, everything, the script of the game has changed. And let's see what happens in this last 24 minutes of the game.
Lovely to hear you. We'll be back later for you, Geordie, to see your vibe in the pub. Saj, we've heard from you very quickly back. Always lovely to hear from you, but very quickly. So what's happened?
It's a big chance for Bracknell to go 3 goals ahead. It was a shot from Shamal Moore from the penalty spot. But Jacob Fallais, again, he's been an absolute machine at the back for Guernsey. Him and Lucas Hanley have combined to keep this score down tonight. And he got back on this goal line again, snuffed the danger, and he has cleared it off the line. Otherwise, it could have been 3 for Bracknell as they look to push on now. The last game did end 3-0 when the two sides met earlier in the season, and it could be going that way as it's all Bracknell here at the SB Stadium.
Lovely to hear, Saj. We'll come back to you for updates, but first of all, Manchester City, they've had a chance, have they?
Yeah, anyone who says Fernandinho's lost it over the years is not telling the truth. He's still controlling the game. He's found himself 25, 30 yards out, just right of the centre of the pitch, and he's played a ball through 3 Sporting defenders, threading an eye of the needle through to Gabriel Jesus. He's not managed to tuck away the shot to open the scoring tonight, but it's just another bit of class from the Brazilian, who's, I can see in the moment, he's just walking about, he's taking his position on the pitch, he's just sitting at the centre of the pitch, just owning all the possession for Man City, who are well into the 500 passes now for the game. It's just a bit of a reminder, even though Rodri has come in, everyone says he's going to be the new Sergio Busquets, but it's just a reminder of the class that he has. As Sporting come forward, cross come into the box on the left-hand side, headed away by Amoulak Laporte, with Slimani at the back post waiting for that header, but it's still 0-0, 17 minutes played.
We'll go over to James now, Hartlepool and Rotherham. What's happening over there, James?
This game is showing no signs of slowing down, to be honest, as there's been 2 huge chances, one for either side. The first one was for Smith. He had a very good chance for his hat-trick. Barlassen in the midfield has been nothing short of sensational tonight, as he picks up the ball quite deep into his own half and plays an amazing over-the-top through ball over the top of the Hartlepool defence. Smith latches onto it. His first touch is good, however, he couldn't quite find the far corner with his effort. That narrowly missed. Then straight up the other end, another huge chance for Hartlepool as Bogle beat his marker with a sensational bit of skill. It's quite outrageous, actually. And he managed to feed his teammate in Crawford. However, unfortunately, his touch let him down, and it meant that his shot was blazed just over the top of the crossbar. Still 2-2, just over 10 minutes to go.
Michael Smith looking like he wants to take that game by the scruff of the neck, like he has, and get a hat-trick in that game. But we'll go over to a game that's being run by French internationals, and it's Benzema and Mbappe. How do they look, George?
Yeah, Madrid are looking really good now since that goal. That's really breathed some life into them. Ancelotti's dead still on the sidelines, but Pochettino's going crazy. He's starting to panic. I think he's worried about his previous record that we mentioned in this stage of the Champions League. His PSG side is starting to look a bit shaky, but I think they need to get on the ball. They have just started to get on the ball now, but Real Madrid are really in the ascendancy now and starting to push forward. Possibly, I could see Madrid getting another goal at this rate.
And Geordie, is that the same for you over in the pub? Just quickly unmute for us.
In the last few minutes, what I'm seeing is that as George is saying, Paris Saint-Germain wants to get on the ball. Look at this last play. They have been playing such a quick passing game in midfield, so it's normal that after the Benzema goal, Real Madrid wants to push forward. They play at home, even if, of course, it's not a full house at the Bernabeu because they are redeveloping the stadium, and there's not a full capacity. But people there are pushing, of course, alongside their team. So Paris Saint-Germain were trying to calm down the game, playing a possession game, quick short passes in midfield. they want to try to cut this reaction that we all expect from Real Madrid. And now the ball is near Real Madrid's goal, because there's a corner kick for Paris Saint-Germain. There goes Neymar to take it. Next minutes can be key for the development of the game. Let's see if Paris Saint-Germain is able to calm down the game, regain possession, and defend themselves with the ball. If they can't achieve that, they have chances of keeping the score 1-1 until the end of the game, I think.
Thank you very much, Geordie. We'll come back to you soon. But Man City, there's been a chance. Will, what's going on?
Yeah, Sporting, lovely play. They've had a few flicked plays down the line, and they found themselves on the right hand side with Edwards, the former Spurs man, the England under-20 international. He's played a ball. He's just managed to get it beyond the defender Laporte, just beyond him, and it's fell to their left back on the left side of the goal, and he's blazed it. It's just got over the bar. By far their best chance of the game, and also a bit of. It's not mocking Sporting at all, in my opinion. But Scott Carson has just entered the game. Edison has come off. Sporting are now down the right hand side. Left-footed shot just beyond the far corner. But yeah, like I was saying, 36-year-old Scott Carson has just come on for his second Champions League appearance. Evan, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's great to see such a, in the internet world of football, everyone knows who Scott Carson is, and I agree with what you're saying. I don't think it's mocking Sporting at all. I think both teams can see how this game was going right from kick-off, so I think Sporting are now pushing for a goal to maybe give their away fans something to celebrate in the far end, and Man City are just doing what they've done the whole game, just controlling it, just taking it a bit easy, just controlling the game as much as they can.
Seems like that tie's over and dead and buried, but one tie that is not is Real Madrid and PSG. George, what's going on?
Yeah, it's frantic here. PSG all over the shop. The ball fell to Vinicius after some shocking defending from PSG on the edge of the 6-yard box on his left foot, and he just smashes it over the bar. Such lack of composure. You'd want that to fall to Benzema there. How it's not 2-1 now and 2-all in aggregate, I really do not know. And then more poor defending, more lack of concentration around the back from PSG, giving the ball back to Real Madrid. Real are really pressing and putting the pressure onto PSG. I can really see another Madrid goal coming, as I said previously.
And Geordie, is that the same vibe that you're getting from within the pub? Just quickly unmute for us.
Yeah, of course. Real Madrid are pushing forward. I understand George is sensing this Real Madrid goal, because that's normally the way it is in Real Madrid home games in this kind of situation. What I find is unbelievable is, again, Paris Saint-Germain losing a ball in their own box, nearly in front of Donnarumma's goalmouth. Once you have received the goal in the same situation some minutes before, thanks to pressing by Benzema, it's incredible. They still under pressure. They want to begin an attacking play, trying to play short passes in their own box. I think it's unbelievable. But the thing is, Paris Saint-Germain, they play such a vertical game. I was saying in the first half, if they are able to connect with their best players, with Neymar, with Messi, with Mbappe, they can create chances very, very quickly. And they do this through a vertical game. So playing direct, not direct football in the sense that they are kicking the ball upwards and then try to find some of the three key men. But they like to run. They like to play vertical passes, not short passes in front of their own goal mouth. So I couldn't believe this chance that the Real Madrid had before this error by Paris Saint-Germain. It's important for the French that they keep the ball further away from their goal. Now they had this possibility of creating an attacking play, but now it's Real Madrid who's counter-attacking. It's Vinicius who has the ball into Paris Saint-Germain box. Now passing to Luka Modric. Oh, what a pass to Benzema. There's the goal. And you could feel how this is perceived and received by the Real Madrid fans here at the pub. They celebrate because finally George was right. Real Madrid could score this second goal, and paradoxically, it was from a counter-attack. Paris Saint-Germain was trying to play to keep the ball in Real Madrid's own half, but thanks to a counter-attack by Real Madrid, it was Neymar who lost the ball. A counter-attack very well driven by Luka Modric. What a pass, incredible pass to the left-hand side to Vinicius. He was waiting for Benzema to appear. He held the ball. He gave the ball again to Luka Modric, and the pass is extraordinary. The timing, the positioning of Karim Benzema, that's what I talk about when I'm speaking about Benzema being clever. His cleverness is clearly seen in this play. How he has position into his into Paris Saint-Germain box. The shot by Karim Benzema is deflected by Marquinhos, but anyway, great counter-attacking goal by Real Madrid. 2-1, and now let's see if we're going into extra time, if Real Madrid keeps pushing for the third goal, or Paris Saint-Germain can get the goal that gets him back into the quarterfinals. Let's see.
Thank you very much, Geordie. We'll come back to you soon. And now closer to home, George Rees-Julian, what have you got to tell us?
Yeah, Farnborough have got a second goal. It's that man Mitch Parker again off the bench. He's wrapped it up. It's 2-0. We're now into injury time. Farnborough going to the final.
Lovely. Thank you very much, George. And now we'll go to James Hartlepool versus Rotherham. Does anyone look like they're going to steal it?
It looks like
goal! 3-1. Sorry, James. 3-1 Madrid. Benzema hat-trick. I said Benzema would get a goal. He's got 2 since I last spoken to you. Hat-trick for Benzema. He's been unbelievable today. He's been absolutely on fire. That's a hat-trick. He's looking up at the gods. I'm sure the players are looking up at him as a god. He's been absolutely unbelievable today. He's been fantastic. I mean, they don't need Mbappe the way Benzema's playing. This is absolutely ridiculous. He's made 6'5" Donnarumma look tiny today in that goal. He's just absolutely brilliant. Let's look through from the kickoff pretty much. They nicked the ball off PSG. Vinicius running down the left. Do you think they've lost a chance? Oh, Marquinhos. As I said earlier, Marquinhos giving the ball away. Marquinhos fancied an assist. He's passed it to Benzema, and Benzema's tucked it away. Beautiful outside the right boot. And I cannot believe it. It's 3-2 on aggregate, I think, to Real Madrid. Unbelievable. Now PSG have got to change their approach. They've got to start attacking again, which isn't easy when you've been trying to sit back for 40 minutes or so.
Do you think that's good intensity from Vinicius, or was that poor from Marquinhos?
A bit of both. I think it's good intensity from Vinicius, but I think Marquinhos, he's been poor all game. Benzema, the captain of Madrid, leading by example, and Marquinhos, the captain of PSG, is just really doing the exact opposite. No wonder Pochettino was pacing around. Linked with the United job at the end of the season. Possibly going to get a sack if he doesn't win the Champions League with his side. I think he could be heading for the sack if he loses this game from this position, but Pochettino, and I don't see him getting the United job. Wow, I cannot believe it. 3-1 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. Sorry, James.
Lovely. We'll quickly go to Saj, who's got a full-time result. Saj, this might be the last time we talk to you tonight, so what's happened at Bracknell?
Indeed, it's finished 2-0 to Bracknell Town as they move within one win of the league title in the 7th tier of English football. It was a brilliant game, I must say. Both teams were attacking. First half was behind Bracknell. Bracknell were really going for it in the first half. Guernsey came out strong in the second half. However, 2 moments of clinical nature from the league leaders was the difference. 2 set pieces, I should say. 1 penalty in the first half, 1 corner in the second half. For all of their attacking talent out on the pitch today, it was what the basics of football that came to separate the 2 sides. 1 penalty and 1 corner. There's no shame in that defeat for Guernsey. I must say they put up a good fight. However, it is Bracknell who come out on top 2-0 and they move further clear at the top of the league and could wrap it up this weekend.
Thank you very much, Saj, for all of tonight. And now we go from the depths of football to the heights of football. Man City, how they doing, Will?
Yeah, Sporting just had a brilliant counter-attack. Islam Slimani is played through one-on-one. And I'd have to agree with co-commentating genius Martin Keown when he said the game's finally come to life. It has. City go right down the other end. Mahrez takes on his man, beats him, fires a shot with his right peg. Straight at the keeper, though. This game's finally come to life. And really, yeah, let's say Slimani could have done better. The ball's played across goal. He could have worked an angle to put it in the far corner. He's tried to pull it back to his teammate. I think it was Paulinho. But I think it was Laporte who got back just in time. But this game, 82 minutes on the clock, has finally come to life.
And one game that has come to life, but we haven't got to, is Hartlepool-Rotherham. James, what's happening?
Well, to be honest, this game only looks to be one winner, and that's the League One side at the moment. They're really pushing for this all-elusive winner. Oh, hand chance here. Bogle. Oh my God, he was through on goal with pretty much with an open goal as well, but he decided to turn back and not shoot. I can't believe it. But back to what I was saying, the League One side, they made quite a few early changes and they looked the fitter, the stronger side. And the last 20 minutes or so has been a right back to the walls job for Hartlepool. Their keeper Ben Killip has really kept him in it. He made an unbelievable save from substitute Mark Miller, who was found in the just outside the 6-yard box, and his effort looked to be heading for the bottom corner until the outstretched arm of Killip managed to keep the ball out somehow. But yeah, no, it's looking like Rotherham are going to keep pushing for this winner.
And then we'll go from there over to Geordie. Geordie in the pub, how are you doing? What's going on after that third goal?
It's unbelievable what is happening at Santiago Bernabeu, and really you cannot win the Champions League if you are so shaky at this stage of the competition, just as Paris Saint-Germain are being. These two last goals have been nearly two presents from players of Paris Saint-Germain. I think it's normal that you think about Pochettino. Because I think it's such a failure after another project has been built to bring Paris Saint-Germain to at least the Champions League final. But you know, Real Madrid has always known how to play these kind of games. Champions League, it's all about details. These kind of games, it's all about details, and details are deciding this game now at the Santiago Bernabeu. So that's the way it is. Madrid know how to play. Other clubs teach you how to play, and Real Madrid teach you how to win. And they are winning 3-1. They are fourth now with Vinicius again. Paris Saint-Germain are so shaky. They have shown it, especially with the third goal. With this, that's the basics of football. They teach this to 7 or 8 or 9-year-olds. You cannot give a horizontal pass in your own box because any striker cutting that ball can score, and that's what Benzema did. And again, Real Madrid looking for the fourth goal. Paris Saint-Germain have absolutely collapsed it. They played well in the first half, but now they are absolutely destroyed. Now again, they're losing balls in front of their own box. It's unbelievable how the game has changed for Real Madrid and for Paris Saint-Germain. Now, of course, and I think the fans in the pub also cheering for Real Madrid think the same. This game now is clearly for Real Madrid.
Thank you very much, Geordie. Now we go from one result to another. George Rees-Julian, what's happening over at Farnborough?
Yeah, it's finished, Joe, and it's finished 2-0 to Farnborough. They're through to the final where they'll take on Eastleigh, and it's thoroughly deserved. They absolutely dominated the game tonight. 2 goals from substitute Mitch. What's his surname? I can't even think. But he came on and he scored both goals. And yeah, it's a massive result for them. They're through to the final. They'll take on Eastleigh. I think it's in 2 weeks' time at Tottenham, but the Hampshire FA are yet to confirm that.
Thank you very much, George, for all of tonight. And we'll go over to James. James, Hartlepool and Rotherham. There's been a big save, but for who?
Well, we've had another unbelievable chance for the away side here. They're really pushing for this winner. A ball coming from the right. they brought on a substitute at half time, Ukwe, who is a centre back actually. I don't know why he was in that position, but absolutely bullet header, headed down into the ground. But Killip was once again equal to it down to his left hand side, pushing it away. Honestly, that save was as good as a goal.
And now we'll go over to Manchester City versus Sporting. The game might not be dead. The tie obviously is, but what's the game looking like, Will?
We're winding down in the last few minutes here, Callum. Mahrez has just had a chance from the right-hand side of the box. But like I say, Sporting, they had a few chances earlier on in the game. Slimani trying to pull a ball back to Paulinho. Laporte just got there ahead. But with 3 minutes left on the clock, with added time still to come, City have made a few changes. They brought on a few youngsters, and they're starting to show kind of just a little bit of class. The Olays are coming out from the fans. They're pinging the ball around lovely. And with 3 minutes left on the clock, the game is all but wrapped up here. Sporting do have the ball down the left wing ever. Ball across the box, put out for a throw-in. That's really all you can really say about Sporting tonight. They're getting into the final third, but when they get there, they don't really seem like they know what they're doing. And City have the professionalism and the structure as a side to clear any danger, really. Scott Carson, who's come on, he had one save to make early on, and he got himself into a bit of an injury. He had a collision with Paulinho in a 50-50. Apart from that, it's been smooth sailing for the City side.
Well, it's nice to see at least Sporting fans have made the most of the trip, but one team that will try and make the most of their game is PSG. Do they look like they're coming back, George?
No chance. They look like they're getting worse. If anything, they're so shaky at the back. I mean, they can't cope with the pressure of Benzema and Vinicius. They've been all over them. To be honest, the rest of the Real Madrid team have done the square root of nothing really for the rest of the game. It's all been those two up top, and PSG. No, I thought it was going to be PSG counter there, and I was going to eat my words. But this is all Real Madrid now. Really, that this could be the third time in 5 years that PSG are going to go out of a Champions League 2-leg tie after being 2-0 up at some stage. Really not looking great for them, and I think actually in the second half, well deserved for Real Madrid.
And on that note, we'll go over to cricket with Adam. Adam, there's a roundup. What's been going on?
So it's now the close of play. Slightly premature as rain caused the end of the play of today. Jason Holder finished on 43 off 104 deliveries, whilst Bonner finished on 34 off 103. West Indies finish on 202 for 4. You'd say they'd have to be the happier out of the two teams. England will have to take some early wickets, otherwise the West Indies will really get a commanding lead. England struggling again. West Indies finish on 202 for 4.
Thank you very much, Adam. And we'll go quickly to James. James, regular time's ended. Who looks like that they're going to push on into the extra time and win it?
Well, obviously, yeah, it's full time 2-2. I have to say the intensity from the first whistle has been absolutely incredible in this game. Both sides are giving it their all. It turns out we're actually going straight to penalties in this one, and as we've seen from both sides in the previous rounds, obviously Rotherham have won their last 2 rounds on penalties, and Hartlepool won their last round as well, so it'd be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, as James said, last 2 going through on penalties. Geordie, what's going on at the pub there at Real Madrid and PSG? You wouldn't mind unmuting quickly?
I would say some Spaniards around here. Now Paris Saint-Germain pushing, but I totally agree with George. They will have now a foul in their favour near to Real Madrid's box, but that's the only way they can do something in this game, because as George was saying, it's all Real Madrid right now. Everything has changed because of errors by Paris Saint-Germain. In this stage of the competition, you cannot play like this. Is such a huge disappointment for PSG and for PSG fans, and also for Lionel Messi, because he came to Paris Saint-Germain, of course, thinking that reuniting with Neymar, playing alongside Mbappe, they could do great things, and of course they can win the Ligue 1, the French league. They're the best team in the competition for sure, but their goal, of course, their aim was winning the Champions League. And with the second half performance, they are not a Champions League winning side. But let's see what Messi can do with this free kick now. from the edge of the area. What a great shot by Messi, but anyway, it went out. It was approximately 20 centimeters above the post of Thibaut Courtois' goal, so maybe that was one of the last opportunities for Paris Saint-Germain. You feel that the direction of this game is clearly for Real Madrid, and they will get again into the quarterfinals playing like Real Madrid do, taking profit of errors by the opponents, and that's the way it is. So well deserved, great game again by Karim Benzema, still at he's 35 years old, but he's one of the best strikers in Europe, if not the best. There's Lewandowski, there's Holland, but being 35, what Benzema is capable of doing, it's extraordinary, really.
Thank you very much, Geordie. The tie may be over, but the game definitely isn't over at Man City. Will, what can you tell us?
City, they clearly won a goal for the fans more than anything, really. Sterling, he's had 2 chances just then. A lovely ball played over the top to him, a little dink pass, and he's in behind. Ball, the shot's just into the side netting as the referee blows the whistle for full time. An easy game, really, for City. It was how it was going to go. I'm sure Guardiola will see it as a job well done. Sporting put up a fight. They definitely had some chances. Islam Slimani and Paulinho, the 2 main men going forward for them. But all in all, a comfortable job done for Man City. They're able to rest the big players. Ederson came off for Scott Carson, who's got his minutes. That will guarantee him a Champions League winners' medal if they're able to secure the trophy come the summer. But apart from that, it's a comfortable game for Man City, and they're through into the quarterfinals.
Lovely, and we go on to the penalty shootout with James. What's going on there? Who's up on top?
We've had some incredible penalties so far, I have to admit. It's 2-2 at the moment. Hartlepool scored their first one with their captain stepping up. Featherstone placed it just about past Johansson in Rotherham net. After that, we had Smith, who's had an absolutely excellent game. Obviously, he scored a brace. His penalty was confidently dispatched into the bottom corner. After that, we had another excellent penalty. And again, sent the keeper the wrong way, high into the roof of the net. And now we're back to Hartlepool, just about to take their next penalty.
We'll just stay with you just for that penalty.
It's a great penalty. Little stutter in the run up from, and he's just sent the keeper the wrong way.
Perfect. We'll keep you updated on those penalties as they go in. George, what's happening over at PSG?
Yeah, I feel like the game's ticking out now. It's getting close to that win that Madrid want. Benzema dressed all in white. He's been biblical at the Bernabeu tonight, and he's got 80,000 disciples around him now. All those Madrid fans are loving this performance. He's been fantastic. I mean, PSG, they've gone missing in Madrid just as they got burnt out in Barcelona all those years ago. It's just unbelievable how they've let this lead go, and yeah, this is only going Madrid's way now.
Perfect. Geordie, is that the same vibe that you're getting in the pub?
Yeah, the game is over right now. Real Madrid are into the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. No celebration at all. There were celebrations in the pub when Real Madrid scored their 3rd goal. What a performance by Benzema. What a disappointment for Messi, for Neymar. But it was truly deserved by Real Madrid. The reason it's the reason I told you before. At this stage of the competition, you have to know how to play. You cannot be so shaky, so psychologically fragile, like Paris Saint-Germain was after receiving the first goal by Real Madrid, the first goal by Benzema. It was an error, of course. It was a mistake by Gianluigi Donnarumma, but you have to move on. Paris Saint-Germain did, I think they played well in the first half, and they disappeared. They absolutely disappeared after this first goal by Karim Benzema. Of course, Real Madrid fans play their part. Playing at the Bernabeu is very difficult for opponent teams when Real Madrid are pushing forward, because fans are pushing alongside the team. But anyway, this was a disappointing performance by Paris Saint-Germain in the second half. So they let Real Madrid revive and it's truly well deserved for Real Madrid getting into the quarterfinals of the competition. It's well deserved for Paris Saint-Germain being out of the competition in the round of 16, in my opinion.
A massive thank you to you, Geordie, for joining us in Madrid and giving us your view from there. Thank you very much. We go now over to James, which penalties are still going on at Hartlepool and Rotherham to get into the final of the Papa John's Trophy. What's going on?
Yes, we've had some absolutely excellent penalties, but we're down to the final one now. And yeah, it's going to sudden death. It's 4-4. Earlier we had Barlassen, who took an absolutely excellent penalty, and it just summed up his game, to be honest. Then we went to Luke Molyneux, who has also had an excellent game, has been in contention for man of the match, but unfortunately he made his penalty quite obvious. He shaped it to go into the right-hand side of the keeper, and he read it, got down early and saved it. We had another missed pen. Killip, the Hartlepool keeper's been awesome tonight as well, and he managed to make an excellent save. And now we're just down into sudden death. Oh, we've had another miss here. Hartlepool, he's absolutely blazed it over the crossbar. He looks only to be a young lad, and obviously the pressure's got to him.
And that is all we've got at that game so far. If you're just joining us, Farnborough beat Porchester in the Hampshire Cup semi-final. They now play Eastleigh. Bracknell versus Guernsey. Saj told us it was a 2-0 win for Bracknell. They now move within 3 points of winning that league. And we went with Manchester City, who go through on a 5-0 aggregate scoreline, although 0-0 at the game there. And George reported beautifully on a Karim Benzema masterclass, which saw them ride out 3-2 aggregate victors. We'll go back to James quickly just to see these last penalties.
All over here, Rotherham are going to Wembley. Substitute Mark Miller, who had an excellent impact on the second half, I have to say, stepped up, confidently dispatched his penalty, sending the keeper the wrong way to send Rotherham into the final of the Papa John Trophy. It's been an absolutely excellent game tonight, and it's been a pleasure to commentate on it. And good luck to both sides for the rest of the season.
And that sums up our night with that happening over there. Thank you very much for joining us, and this is the end of our night. Goodbye.